want comic talk, you know who to call. Weird Science. Jim is short and he also can't see at all. Weird Science. When there's comics to review, you can count on the Get Fresh crew. Beep boop. It's the Weird Science DC comic show. Let's go! It's the Weird Science DC comic show. Let's go! Let's go!
Hello and welcome to the Weird Science DC Comics podcast. We're here on Easter. I was going to say Thanksgiving. Easter weekend, and I'm joined by a guy who's in a country that doesn't really celebrate much of Easter because it's Easter where he is, and I'm here with Gray. What up, Gray?
All right, Jim, I'm still waiting for me chocolate egg that should be in the post from you, right?
Yeah,
Right?
From the
Hint, hint.
post. You remind that's like my grandmother. When my dad was in the Air Force and he was stationed in Germany, my grandmother sent him soft pretzels because he said that's what he missed, but she's too cheap. And even though it was still like in the early 60s, I think. So when she sent them, they went by boat. They showed up green and fuzzy. So I'm pretty cheap too. I don't know how you're getting that chocolate egg. I do know that I think it is in France where they don't have the Easter bunny. A giant bell flies around and gives you candy and stuff. A bell.
Giant bell? Really?
So weird. Yeah.
Not a bell end?
No, just a bell. That's what I heard. And in fact, the thing that I heard the guy was explaining, oh yeah, you know, Easter, the Easter bunny. And they're like, what the hell is that? Like they're making fun of an Easter bunny as if a bell is better. It flies out of the belfry. You got bats in your belfry, but here we are. Again, it's Easter where Gray. How's Easter treating you?
It's pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy myself.
The best is you're about to have lunch. It's after the witching hour here. I'm about to go to bed. And it's Easter for both of us.
It's the sakura season, Jim, the cherry blossom season. It's almost finished, by the way. They peaked at the weekend. So, yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. But the weather's been crap. It's been so windy and rainy.
My son and daughter-in-law, they went to Washington, D.C. to look at the cherry blossoms, which, again, they're driving a long way to look at cherry blossoms. But they went and there was no cherry blossoms. And they were very mad. So I showed them the pictures. I was actually showing pictures because you'll send me pictures of the cherry blossoms amongst other things. And I'm showing it to him. I was actually showing it to him, almost like rubbing it in. Like, yeah, my buddy Gray, he goes in this backyard and there's cherry blossoms. And now Zach loved it. He actually send me those pictures. I'm like, when did you become Mr. Cherry Blossom? I don't know. Is there a cherry blossom parade? Could he be queen of the cherry blossoms? I'll send him over to Japan. Holy moly. But here we are. We don't have a lot of books. We have 3 books that we're going to be talking about.
Disappointing week, Jim.
Yeah, really. And it's going to be me and Brett. Gray's just on here for now, which is great. So we get to see you talking. We'll end up, I think Deathstroke's coming up again soon and some things that me and you do. But in the meantime, you know, we have me and Brett. Triple B, who we find out also is bald like a cue ball. So I said he's quadruple B. He's bald bitch book Brad or whatever the hell you'd go. But he's but he's
a speed reader.
He is. He's not like going bald, but he shaves his head bald. I call him a cue ball later, just as a joke. But in the meantime, it'll be me and Brad talking Batman, the Adventures of Superman House of L for the one person who reads that. And then JSA, which not surprisingly, it's been pretty good. The year
GSA's been very consistently good,
This is a good one. And again, if you haven't read it, and I'll spoil it kind of, but if you haven't read it and you're a fan of The Lost Children that we had before, which I really am, all those little kids and whatever that were lost and that Jeff Johns stuff, it looks like that book's going to turn into that, like they're going to join in. And I always thought they would, but now they're going to do it. And almost like what Brad said, might end up becoming a real good kind of thing like Titans Academy, which sucked. We'll actually get some good stuff. So if you like those Lost Children, it might be a book that you want to start picking up. But again, we'll talk about it a little later. In the meantime, if you need more, you can go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/weird science. And our bonus show this week, 2 books picked by the badasses of the Get Fresh crew. They ended up picking not a lot of books to pick from, but they picked Batman Superman World's Finest, which is an anniversary issue. It's a 50th and it's oversized. Pretty cool. They don't charge you anything extra either, it seems. 2 really good stories in that. And I know that some people, give me the nonsense. Hey,
Dan Morris is back on. He's in one of the stories, I believe.
Yeah, he's one of the stories.
Cool.
And Adrian Gutierrez, I think it is, that does the backup. It's almost just as good. I think that's who it is. I'm
looking forward to it. As I told you, I'm behind this week. I've yet to read most of the books this week, but I'm looking forward to this. What did
you think of it, Cray? It's really good.
It's got a great cover.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And you end up having a Dr. Destiny story with the Summerween of the Dreamstone, like all that. Like, if you hated Fear State, it doesn't matter. This is good. It's really good. And you have a lot of cool Dan Mora art, including one of the coolest looking Batman 66 Batmobiles that then turns into the Tumbler because they're playing Dream Rules.
Awesome.
It's really good. And then the backup story is team up Jimmy Olsen and Dick Grayson Robin versus Batgirl and Supergirl trying to get an ancient relic that turns to be something different. It's really good. Jimmy Olsen's hilarious. He is so funny in that. And also Supergirl and Batgirl are kind of like, we hate those guys, but they're kind of cute. It's good. It was really good. And actually, I haven't felt that spark for World's Finest. Remember at the beginning, everybody loved it.
Oh,
and it was like, oh my God, it's great. And it had that
it was great, at least the first 20 issues.
Oh, yeah. And then I kind of lost its seal. This actually ups it again. There's guest stars in a weird way of like the Doom Patrol. You get a bunch of other things in it.
I mean,
with Dream Rules, but it is good. It's really good. You should check it out, even if you're, kind of, saying that you don't sneak it. Don't tell your friends, when you get together and you're hateful, kumbaya. Your
kumbaya?
Meetings. Don't when you get together in your meetings where you say everything you hate. I like to call that our podcast, but the idea, even if you're against it, try to read it. It's pretty good. And then we also talk about Bizarro. Bizarro #1, one of the newer books, which, I said my tagline would be, it's more bizarre than Bizarro. That would be
like
my
the new
tagline.
upcoming writer, Kevin Smith.
Remember him? And this other guy who's with him. I'm like, maybe it's the other guy writing. But boy, I checked the page count a lot in that. And it wasn't because I was bored, even though I was. It was because I'm like, I'm already at page 50. Where the hell's Bizarro? When's this guy going to show up? And then he does, and it's weird. It's
the art was pretty good, Jim, but what's going on with people, the shapes of people's heads? That's what I want to know.
That's the thing, too. I did it with Ryan, Fear Monarch, and he ended up like, he hated the art.
Oh, did he?
It has a Frank,
it's got a bit of a Frank Quietly
also,
feel
Eric
to
Burnham
it.
kind of deal. It has that play. But boy, it's weird. Everybody does look like scuzzbags, though, don't they, a bit? Like nobody's shaving.
I'm just paging through it now. Wow.
It's very
where's
weird.
Bizarro? Oh, he's not in so near
You're going through it, right? You'll finally get to Bizarro when it ends. It's very weird. It's the weirdest one of the newer books, but I don't know. I
need more Bizarro.
Again, you can end up where if you go over to the Patreon, and if you haven't already, you can go and get a 7-day free trial. You can go and sign up even for free to see what we put out.
Do it now.
And in the meantime, it's probably, I haven't edited it completely. I'm going to do it after we do this intro, but it ends up being about, I don't know, it was about probably an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, somewhere around there. Again, an oversized World's Finest that me and Brad really like, and Bizarro. But we're going to get into this because you got Easter lunch to do, even though it has nothing to do with Easter. But we're going to give a little shout out here to the badasses of the Get Fresh crew. And this is the badass roll call. Ay, ay, ay. Today in the Slack, I didn't realize that Yaya was going to dissect the whole rundown of the badass roll call. But here we go. Joe Anello, Edward Holla, TJ Freeling, Andrew Belfast, Eric Loves You, Don't Mention It. I wonder what the deal is, because I do think if I sit there, I think Don't Mention It has like a Bizarro icon, maybe. I wonder what he thought. David Fink, Jack Halsey, Brandon with no, Nick Ross, Trevor, Tom Johnson, Dan Smith, Big Z, The Mark Claire Show, The Annihilator, Ted Probst, I Love Punchline, Stork, Drunk, Stupid Star Trek, Matt Razor, Dr. Matt. He sent me Crocs the other day.
How's his drones?
It's fine. His drones in his AI space. Jason Colby, Sue42 to you and me, Ken Alec, Comic Boom Rocky, Ruben, Two Woof Marv, that is Woof Marv, Matthew Rapier, Simon, another, he's on the holiday. I don't know what he's doing. Luis, Manship Swanee, Josh Million, Batman Beyond Mark, B. Muir, that's Brandon with an E. He's in Canada, Buffalo, Canada, Double A Run, doxing his ass in Minnesota. All-time greats. Shout out to Reginald Drinkwater, old Reggie. I wish he was around. He might like that Bizarro book. Nobody else does.
I'm sure he'd be happy to see Vertigo is back as well.
Yeah, he would love that. And also Rob Lewis. All-time greats. Unfortunately, no longer with us. I still miss both of them. I used to talk to Rob every day. Rob used to call me on the phone at points when something would go down on the
telephone.
And it was great. He would call me, like, hey, Rob, what's going on? And we would talk for a while. He'd rant and rave to me, but it was always awesome. And he got sick and died. It sucks, but people end up, kind of coming and going, they say. And that's keep on keeping on. I never know what to say to people when bad things happen. Obviously, I'm hemming and hawing now. If I keep going, I'm going to insult somebody. So we're going to get out of here. Plus, you have to
British,
go.
Jim. You're like,
and,
keep your chin up, something like that.
Well,
and then you get really angry and you punch him in the face. Again, say that to you.
That's what happens. If you're British, you just end up like pretending shit didn't happen. Like, unless you're my mom. She's British, drama queen. She is always yelling and screaming. That's the thing. My mom goes the opposite way of she doesn't ignore it. She just blames me. Throughout my whole youth, everything that went wrong, my fault. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I didn't cheat on that guy. You did, Mom.
What did you do, Jim?
Yeah, I didn't drive drunk, Mom. That was you. And she's like, you made me drink. No, my mom didn't even drive until she was like 50. And she's the worst driver. I swear to God, anytime I hear ambulances go by, I just pray it's because she got in an accident. I can't stand her.
But Happy Easter, folks.
Happy Easter, Mom.
Jesus. He's coming for you, Jim. He's coming back.
What a jerk, that lady. She would make me watch horror movies, and I hated them. And I'd say, I don't want to watch it. I'll get scared. She would call me names that I won't repeat in the deal, and then make me watch them. I
didn't know your mum was a horror movie fan. No way.
She loved them. I remember, I think I put my foot down when she made me watch Salem's Lot. And I can't remember anything about it, but I didn't like it. When
you watch it now, Jim, it's kind of goofy fun. But when you were a kid, that shit was terrifying, man.
I saw Amityville Horror.
Oh, my God.
I'm telling you. And then I
think that damaged me when I was a young boy.
In the band that I was in college, that got me through college, the drummer lived next door to the Amityville Horror House. I actually was in the house. I took a tour of the house.
No way.
And I almost shit my pants. Also, I ended up where, again, they're like, what? I didn't want to be left alone anywhere in that house. And they said,
did it turn out to all be a big con, though, in the end?
Yeah, they said it was bullcrap. But the big thing with Ken Mizell was the drummer. And he ended up saying that, like, as kids, they were told Halloween, all those things, people would go, hey, where's the Amityville Horror House? And, it's like 3 blocks down there. They were told not to say where it is and stuff, even though it was next door.
Yeah.
It didn't have those, like, eyes and stuff. But I'm telling you, I was watching. I thought the freaking walls were going to bleed. In the deal of flies and shit like that. And, like, I don't need a voice to tell me to get the hell out. I got the hell out. I was scared. I really was scared. And there's no way I would have been able to stay overnight in that thing. I was so scared. And, again, these people who live it now, it's like, family after family, whatever it would be. But even they're sick. And there's me. Oh, my God, I was so scared when I saw it. They're like, we don't need to hear this story. But it was fun. I went there with that, but that was crazy. I remember, and I found out because I'm like, man, the scariest movie I ever saw was Amityville Horror. And then Ken's like, I live next door to that. I'm like, you're full of crap. Also, another movie that we went to see, I don't know how we got, I think it might have been, was Jaws. It was freaking scary. When you're like, 7 or 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7
right?
watching Jaws. And it's scary.
You know what the worst is? We saw it when we were on vacation at the beach. And then my dad was yelling because then we went to the beach.
Hey, Jimmy, why are you not going in the sea?
That's the thing. My dad, and this is how my dad's thing is. he seems to think he wasted money just because I didn't go in the water. I'm like, we're still at the beach. It's not like you're like you paid the ocean, right? I wouldn't go in. Me and my brother both wouldn't. And he was pissed. And I said, maybe don't take us to see Jaws. Really, you jerks. But then they got mad. Then I was forced to go in the water. And my brother almost got taken away by an undertow. And I grabbed him. I still think I saved him. And I'm still mad about that, too. Should have let him go. But that's it. That's the we always have the love of family around holidays.
You sure do.
Speaking of which, I hate my family. So there you go. My, parents and my brother. My brother, I haven't talked to him in a long time. And I saw my dad, I think it's this week. My dad will be dead for like 11 years. There you go.
Wow.
11 years dead.
11 for my mom, it will be this year. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, and I'm like, why couldn't it have been like 30? He was not nice to me. My kids thought I was joking, or like I am now. And my son, Zach, talked to my mom. He was still talking to my mom. And he said, oh, it's not true that Grandpa was real mean to my dad, right? My mom said to him, oh, he was the worst. Like, she said, poor Jimmy couldn't go anywhere without being yelled at for that. She doesn't realize that she was doing it, too. I was just getting barraged by hate. So there you go. And now I just surround myself with love.
Happy Easter, Jim.
Happy Easter. That's why tomorrow I ended up going and I'm like, what am I going to eat for Easter? I feel like I should eat something. I'm like, I'm not making a ham for myself. So I got this weird ham and potato bake thing that I'll just cook and eat and maybe give a little to my dog. That's it. Any
chocolate eggs with toys inside? No?
No, nothing
You don't do that anymore?
At some point, we were actually getting our kids' dogs Easter baskets, with dog treats and stuff like that. Yeah, it's too expensive. And again, my wife now is at the hospital in Delaware. So, and that's the thing. She's volunteering right now to feed homeless people. And I'm like, can anybody feed me? I look like I'm homeless. Why can't I get it? Instead I'm eating a potato and ham bake. Pretty good though. But that's that. But that's it for the beginning. Happy Easter, everybody. Happy Easter, Gray, in Japan. There you go. But we're going to go off now to some books. We're going to start with Batman. Me and Brad going through we still end up diving in, but it'll be a little bit of a quicker episode. But again, it's a holiday, so do something else is what I'm going to say. Oh, man, it's like, have fun with your family. They may like you. Mine doesn't, so away we go. But I'm going to bed. So thank you, Gray, for joining me for the intro. I'll be back by the end. Unfortunately, Gray has to go and eat lunch. So I'll be back at the end to tell you what we're talking about next week. But here we go. Off to the show.
Nobody knows just how you feel. Your head's still filled with all those squeals. Surrounded by friends who don't know your face. Party animals don't know their place. Who else could you possibly be when you kick that baby into the sea? You're Batman as fuck, crashing out of buildings in your bad dumb truck. You're Batman as fuck, burning all that money like a stupid schmuck. You're Batman as fuck, and we like you because you're just dumb fun. We
Oh, yeah, starting things off, X-rated. I'm here with my man, Brad, Triple B.
In the house?
Bitch Brad is in the house. And yeah, that is a absolute Batman song. But I said, we don't have any Batman songs. I did go through a bunch of Eric songs. What's that?
But it seems weird that you don't have that many Batman songs.
No, well, Eric had a bunch, but, they sucked. So I didn't put those in. I was trying to listen to some. And I think that I have tinnitus now from the double bass drum attack that I ended up getting. And the idea, I actually do like double bass. Deal.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't love double bass? It's awesome.
You have to have a idea of how it would work. This just sounds like somebody just shooting a shotgun. Or a machine gun, actually. It just is like out of nowhere. It just... There are some of the times where you'll see those guys. There's one guy, pretty famous guy on YouTube, that he like plays fast as hell. But you're like, okay, that's impressive to see, but it ain't no song. It just sounds like nonsense
about it, right? Like it's just noise.
The guy also does a lot of crazy things where like he plays his hi-hat by just putting the stick on the hi-hat and is able to do this crazy shit that it like plays while it's jumping around. The guy's insane.
At that point, you're more a trick drummer than
he is, and that's what gets the deal. I'm sure the guy is a great drummer anyway, but you're going to make more money doing the tricks and the treats. Though, if you do go on YouTube, you would be amazed if you've never looked up things. But there are probably more YouTube channels with bassists than anything.
Yeah, you mentioned that before, I think, on the podcast.
It's huge. Wild. It's huge. And again, it's because they don't have any friends. A bass player is like such an announcer. So they're like, well, we'll do this. But yeah, there's one guy who has like 15 million followers. He almost got shut down, actually. Is one of the funniest guys I've ever. He is so good. I wish I could remember his name. It's not. There's a Danny Sacco, I think, is the one guy that's pretty funny. He's like a short British guy. This other guy's great. I do watch him. I do watch the things, and basically they fight with each other. That's all it is. It's just fighting, and I can play this. I challenge you to that. It's pretty fun. And then there's a lot of drummers, but they're usually like 15-year-old girls for some reason. There's a lot of crazy things going on. But here we are to talk some books, and me and you are it. That's it. Me and you have 3 books: Batman, House of L, House of Smell. I said, that's what I called our room. And JSA, which me and you, just as a aside, behind the curtain, we've already done JSA. Correct. So if we don't like these next 2 books, stay tuned because we like the JSA. So
you know what? We have 4. You and I have 4 books together because we have one on the spotlight.
Yeah, we have the spotlight. And we like that.
We really liked 2 books a lot, among higher scores that we've given in a while. And we have 2 books that, I don't want to spoil it, but we'll see. It's not in the same category.
Yeah, because on the spotlight, me and you did the World's Finest. Batman Superman's World's Finest. I think I gave that like a 9. I think
you did, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. So you can hear me. Gosh.
Fun, that book.
Yeah, it was. And speaking of which, this next book is not. That's the problem. And I'm not going to say that Batman needs to be fun. I don't sit there and say, oh, there are books. Teen Titans to me should be fun.
Batman
right?
should not have the same vibe as Wally West Flash, right? It should be different.
But it shouldn't be boring. And actually, I'll tell you right now, no book should be.
No book should be boring.
That's the sin of comics where you don't have any sort of cause. You're there. It's like you're doing a movie, but you don't have to pay for it. You could do whatever you want. You could have whatever story. There shouldn't be just people sitting around talking. And the funny thing about this issue, that's all it is. I mean, and you go to, usually what you'll have, and you talk about it, an A, B, C story. This book has an A to X story, that not this issue, but the book itself. There's so much going on. And so in this one, why put the 3 things that are kind of boring together that are just, hey, I want you to do this. Hey, nice to see you. Hey, kid, don't, be worried. That's all it is.
Well, a lot of times you'll have an A and a B story, and the A story is maybe the talky story, the slower paced story, and the B story is the action, or vice versa, right? But here we have A, B, and C. We have 3 stories, and the A, B, C stories, and all 3 of them are just 2 people sitting around talking. That's literally it.
And I get the concept of, hey, look at how Batman's talking to Alan Scott for some reason. And then you juxtapose, with the whole thing, juxtapose with, I was going to juxtapositions, and you end up where you have a Vandal Savage and Poison Ivy. But it's not like they're like the one thing with the guy, the drunk and the kid, it kind of goes with, but it doesn't fully do anything. And then at the end, that story does nothing except remind you, oh yeah, they're a thing, but you really don't get much of that.
Well, and here's the thing, like, okay, sometimes you'll have maybe in a story for whatever reason, you're going to have a part of the story that's a little slow. Right. And that's okay sometimes, as long as it's setting up something else. Mm-hmm. Here's the problem that I have with this issue, but really it's really more of an indictment of the run in general, is that anything you set up in this book, I can't get excited about.
Because you don't know if it's going to be anything next issue, right?
We might drop it and not come back to it for 4 months.
Yeah. Well,
right. Like very last issue, we set up a massive cliffhanger. The Joker reveals that he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And potentially, Dr. Zeller knows. We don't know that for sure, but it looked like she maybe knew. Now we just smash cut to this, and nobody even references that. We might not touch that for 5 months from now.
And if we did, that could go with the end. But legitimately, what I get upset about, like, that's getting upset at the beginning. Like, oh, we're not doing that. Like, that's huge.
Right.
So my thing is at the end, where all of a sudden, oh no, Batman and Robin are wanted. Didn't we fucking do this in issue 2? Like, we did. They were rounding up. They arrested Robin because Batman and Robin. Now it's all like, oh, we got to get it on the books. I'm like,
not only have we done that a million times.
A million times.
We've done it 6 issues ago.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Let's just say that wasn't the case. Let's just say that this was a massive, awesome cliffhanger. What confidence do I have as a reader that we're going to do anything with it next issue, or we're not just going to drop it and go fuck off for the next 3 issues? For all I know, if I don't read the solicits, for all I know, we could set this up. Batman's at war with the city. Oh no! And then next issue, we're gonna go check in and see how Killer Croc's doing for the next 2 issues.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while.
You know what I mean? Like what's going and this goes back to something I complained about with this book before. What's going on with the Minotaur and the Gotham Underworld? Remember when that was a huge setup? What's going on with Zeller's mind tech and the hit that's been placed on her?
And the weird thing about it is, if you sit there and keep thinking, we'll come up with 5 other things. And that's the problem is when you don't nail them down and you move on, you forget about them. When the Minotaur comes up, and this is what I said about in a lesser deal, but it was the Tom Taylor Nightwing run, when you ended up having Heartless. And you had that, and the idea, every time Heartless would come back, if you remember, you had to reintroduce him because you hadn't dealt with him for 6 issues, which means half a year. So when you go back, you're always reintroducing him. What Tom Taylor kept doing is because of the time, then he had to fudge shit because people started questioning, well, why didn't... So the Minotaur is this big thing. When he comes back, it's not going to be necessarily the idea of, oh, why didn't... Because Batman's just going, he doesn't know. What has the Minotaur been doing? What the fuck has he been doing for half a year? I know it doesn't go by each issue as a month, whatever. Well, but the idea it matters just, you lose track.
Yeah, the time frame matters as a reader.
Yeah.
Because it's going to have been 6 months since the last time we saw him do anything. So the reveal of him being back doesn't feel that impactful. You don't go, oh shit, the Minotaur's in town with a few days to thrill. You go, oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
When you
actually,
get to a big,
you go, that guy?
Yeah. Or you get to a big cliffhanger of an issue. Oh, Batman is Bruce Wayne and the Joker knows it. Like, that's crazy. And like, that should be big. But then I just go, well, we're probably not going to deal with that for 3 months. Yeah. So I don't really care.
Like, why isn't Batman doing something about it or worried or thinking about nothing? And so, when you get back each issue that goes by without the thing, it lessens it. And when you have villains, it makes it worse because a villain needs to be like ominous, like, oh my God, but this book's all over the place.
Right. And it when you do it enough times, it actually not just makes what you did less interesting, it makes what you do in this issue less interesting. Because, like I said, when I got to the Batman's at war with the city, am I supposed to go, oh, that's crazy. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next. Because what's going to happen next could be something completely different.
Yeah. Also, even if you went with that, if you went with it, I said the first time we dealt with this 6 months ago, I said we've seen it so many times, and it always just it usually fizzles out. It's the same as, oh no, Batman doesn't have any money. Oh no, the Bat family's mad at Batman. Oh, like these are things that, and the money is the big one. Like the idea of, and again, last time was Mariko Tamaki. They're never going to do it because, again, people, it's a shame. People expect certain things and whatnot. And so, oh, Batman with no money. And at that point, it's like, he's going to have to pick, I remember saying it to you, he's going to have to pick up batarangs after the deal. He's going to have to fix it. Exciting. He's going to have to get under the hood and fix the Batmobile. That could be okay, but you're not going to have a whole issue with that. So it hampers everything. The idea of Vandal Savage being commissioner is already ridiculous. So then he's like, oh, we have a war on Batman. Okay, but what are you going to do with that?
How is that different from what you were doing before?
He's a vigilante. The only thing different is he doesn't have Gordon because Gordon's a beat cop. Now, you could play the idea, because Vandal Savage has been fucking around with Gordon, that Gordon could be in danger. But even then, that's where it goes with the idea of...
He punched Vandal Savage in the face, remember?
Yeah, and so he did that. So what has happened with that? We don't know, and that was months ago. Yeah. So things get lost in the shuffle.
I mean, in this run, Matt Fraction is constantly loading Chekhov's gun and never firing. So at a certain point, when you see somebody load the gun, you don't go, oh crap, I wonder what's going to happen when that goes off. You're like, this is the 25th time we've done this. I don't care. Like, that's how I feel about this.
I know Stork wanted me to throw in a Star Trek disc there just because you heard Chekhov, but that's not the same thing, Stork. So shut your mouth. Again, when it's one of those things, we're going to be doing...
I'm not going to explain Chekhov's gun.
We're going to be doing House of L.
Look it up real quick. It's a storytelling concept.
We're going to be doing House of L next. And it's weird. Like, in that book, you have a story being told that you almost get the idea. First off, it's a vanity project deal, but I'm like, I'm reading it. That one, I'm like, man, I guess Philip Kennedy Johnson knows what he's doing. But in this one, I just imagine that Matt Fraction has like all these notes on his desk, and it's like, this is the Vandal Savage story. The problem is we don't have that.
He's got to have the cork board up, red string.
Oh yeah, he's still in there, he's smoking, he's having rum.
Like the Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Exactly, he's there going.
Yeah, exactly. So, Charlie.
And the thing is, that's fine, but it's not good for us. No. He seems to be writing, and it's gotten to the point where he might be stuck in the square. And he's a great writer. He's, a big writer. But he knows what's going on because it's in his head, and he knows what'll happen. But he's losing me because I don't feel like anything means anything, like you said.
Right, nothing means anything. Nothing has any impact. And I can't get excited about what's coming next. And it's like, it's maddening. Dude, if I had hair, I would shave my head. If I had hair, I'd pull it out. Like, it's so frustrating. And the thing is that makes it frustrating is in a given individual issue, when I read it, I can't tell you that it's written poorly because it isn't. Like, a lot of the dialogue is really good. There's some smart ideas and concepts. There's some things in there that you like. But when you look at it as a whole, it's infuriating
because it doesn't really mean anything. Like,
it does the thing that like Tolkien described this idea of like you being in the story. If the story is doing its job, you are inside the story, you're inside the world. When enough stuff goes wrong that it takes you out of the story, then you're outside of it looking in and you're not emotionally in the story and you start to see more things that are wrong with it and you pick it apart and you enjoy it less, right? Well, because of all of and the weird thing about it is that like Matt Fraction hasn't done a bunch of stuff that like broke me out of the story and said, oh, like, I too many plot holes, I'm out. What took me out of the story is just that, like, what happened with that? When are we going to get back to this? Like, it's all this other stuff that has taken me out of the story. So I'm always on the outside looking in and I'm not that interested in what's going on. And I want to be because there's potentially cool stuff in here. I think the Minotaur stuff that he set up is cool. I think the Zeller, Brain Tag, stuff is less interesting, but you could do something cool with that if we explore that idea. This Batman at war with the city. I'm not really that interested because we've done it a million times, but if he's going to do something fresh with it, okay. But we always just pick it up, drop it, pick it up, drop it, pick it up, drop it, and I don't care.
And the worst is he even referenced Gotham more in this. I'm like, that was bad. But again, you have this all the time now. In that, first off, cue ball. I got to end up doing the credits here, but also before that, I hate the idea. Well, I hate these other reviewers, right? See, I look at the reviews. I'm trying to see what Gabe gave it for. Gabe gave it a 5.5, whatever that is, and we agree, whatever. But he's the worst. There are 2 10s, and actually 3 10s and a 9.5. And these 10s are all. This is a little slow, but it's the calm before the storm. Really? How do you know that? Right? Yeah. And then they're like, man, this feels fresh and exciting, and I never expected it. So I'm like, okay, really? Like the idea of this nonsense of, I know this will pay off, do you? Like,
I know.
And then you have like, eek ad. This run has been very promising so far, and now it seems like it's finally about to hit a new gear of intensity. Why? Because nothing happens? Is that why? Like, stop.
Okay. Let's take that. This run has been promising so far. Promising implies that
it hasn't
hit. Something's going to hit. We're in the second trade now. This is the second trade. The promise should have paid off by now. Like, you're done with your first book.
And I'll give them one thing. They claim, like, he's not writing for the trade. Because if you get that trade, we said at the end of what would be the last trade, like, this would be infuriating. Like, he's writing to drive everybody nuts. They're baldy, basic bald bitch brand. They're quadruple. But
bald book brand. There we go. We
can take bitch brand and keep the bitch. But no, it's just, again, this is just our frustration in it, and it's Batman. I don't want to be frustrated. I want to go in, and we do have Matt Fraction writing. It's Batman 8, Ryan Sook on art, and again, if you're saying promising, again, I've been more frustrated. And so when you get to an issue like this, and all I can keep thinking of is he said that every issue would be worth the price of admission. There'll be one shots in theory that all connect together, but they'll all be satisfying. He wanted to have the book where you go and read it, and even if this is the only issue you read, you'll have a full story beginning, end, and be all excited. That still doesn't mean that it's good. Because the idea, Alan Scott comes into town, he leaves town. You end up having the drunk and the kids, they talk a little, they walk away. And then at the end, you have, signing Pam, Poison Ivy, the mayor. We'll get into that. But then, things kind of happen and end, and you get the deal. That doesn't make it good. This is not it's just a nothing issue, and Batman should never have a nothing issue, but it's Batman, 3 old men, one night in Gotham. Again, sometimes like something like this, if it's done well, we might even say, boy, this would have been like a good story in an annual or one of those anniversary. No, this is nonsense. So you end up Matt Fraction writing, Ryan Sook on art. And I do think that they went to Ryan Sook and said, listen, can you draw this issue? Because we want Jorge to take a little bit of a break because nothing happens in this issue and we don't need him to draw nothing because why waste it? Like there's no car crashes. There's no,
there's no cars in this one. Jorge's like, I'm out.
Yeah. I almost was thinking in my head, like he read the script and he's like, I think I'll take the break there. Like, but again, is that a controlled thing where they're like, okay, Jorge does need a break. So what we'll do is we'll have this like kind of down issue. And Ryan Sook does a good job. It's just not the same art, right?
It's not the same.
So
we'll let Jorge go crush it on that Superman Spider-Man crossover.
So
awesome.
He needs a break. So and there are times when you'll have like who does it a lot now is actually Scott Snyder in the Absolute Batman when they end up well you can take a break while we do an origin of this person. And they've had a lot of different things like that. Like you have that, but it just feels weird here. But Ryan Sook, again, does a good job. It's fine. It's just different art. Clayton Cole's on letters, Tim O'Murray on colors. And you end up having Jessica Burry, associated, Rob Levin, editor. And so we jump into this, and you have 3 faces. Again, this is the 3 old men, but it's whatever. But you have the drunk, who I don't even remember his name. He's the former detective.
He's the detective who's helping out that kid who recorded Vandal Savage.
Yeah, Vandal Savage planting evidence at a legit crime scene that it was known Batman was there. Like that made no sense from the beginning. It's like, man, we're going to make it seem like Batman was here. Yeah, everybody knew he was here. You had arrested Robin. Batman ended up putting a full line of batarangs to blow the tires of the paddy wagon to knock it over, to get Robin out. And then those guys kind of shot each other. The one guy, it's nonsense. So then you have Vandal Savage, who's been stuck as the commissioner. Nothing really has happened from it, except that at one point he kind of made his hit squad. We haven't really seen much of that. Like the idea of GCPD, even when he's there in this one saying, we're just going to make the good old GCPD. I'm like, you had a hit squad. And I think they might have pulled back on this with certain things happening in real life. Maybe it was a little too close to them, though. Usually they go full bore. It's weird. The hit squad just disappeared. They just completely disappeared. Vandal Savage is stuck in Gotham, seemingly because of Gotham War and that whole crazy meteor. They'll bring it up here. It's almost like that idea was so completely stupid that they're going to say he's stuck here, but of his own doing. It's a weird play that they don't fully say.
They say why.
Yeah, they almost say like he's stuck here because of his hard-headed revenge. And no. He can't go past the city limits, supposedly, or he'll die. But they're trying to work it in. I give him credit. He's trying to work it in. It made no sense. Then you get the bottom panel. I'm like, oh, shit. This goes with Detective. Oliver Queen's in town. Nope. It's Alan Scott. He's on the cover. So the idea, this almost feels like, well, we liked it this week. It feels like Mark Waid doing The World's Finest, where he's like, I'm going to get some really cool characters involved. That, Doom Patrol shows up. Oh, man, we haven't seen Metal Men in a while. But when you get Alan Scott, at the end, I'm like, what the fuck was he here for? Like, first off, it could have been anybody. It could have been anybody. It could have been Oliver Queen to tie him with the weather. But it is that Batman called him there because he needed somebody to prance around town with. That's what it seemed like, right?
Yeah. It's very odd. And we like this first page is going to set up what our A, B, and C stories are. Our 3 stories. We've got the cop and the kid who has the recording of Vandal Savage. That story is just the old man pontificating about the state of the world. That's all that is. And it really interrupts the flow of the story.
Oh, my God. It just comes to a screeching halt.
Right? It slows down the pacing, and it doesn't do anything other than just kind of add some atmosphere, which we didn't really need.
I think that Matt Fraction is trying to add some tension because they did go to that newspaper guy who's like, and might have went to Vandal Savage. So there's multiple times where you think they're going to get arrested, but then they don't. But I don't care.
But I also that was like 3 or 4 months ago. I kind of forgot about that.
I don't care.
You know, I didn't even figure out who they were until like halfway through the issue. So maybe that's just me being an idiot. But then our other story is just Vandal Savage talking Poison Ivy into declaring war on Batman, which involves a lot of him pontificating about the nature of heroes and blah 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 blah.
Also, right? you know, not to bury the lead, Poison Ivy's mayor of Gotham.
Which, by the way, they don't even say.
Not even an editor's note. Right?
Oh, okay. Are we going to get into this right now? Because boy, do I have some things to say.
Oh, my God. You have to throw at least an editor's note in. I don't know if Matt Fraction thinks this is I didn't know. I'm not reading the Poison Ivy book anymore. I would have been. This is why, at points, me and Eric always demanded at one point that we read every book because shit like this happens. And we want to come on and go, oh, if you didn't know, in Poison Ivy 36, she was elected as mayor.
It shouldn't be some random ass podcaster's job to let the audience know this person is the mayor from another book. This we'll have editors note that say, see last issue or something.
I swear to God, by the end of the issue, they'll say, see 3 panels before.
Oh my God. I'm literally I'm quaking with, it's like, there's literally no explanation that you can give me that makes sense that Poison Ivy is elected mayor.
When Vandal Savage says at one point, it's like, that's why they elected you. I put in the Slack, fuck Gotham. You bitch and moan. They even have where Batman and Alan Scott kind of have that phrase. Well, if you're crazy. No. You're all assholes. You deserve everything you get if you're electing First off, you're not even upset that Vandal Savage is the commissioner of the GCPD. Then you go in and elect Pam. Like, that shows, like, I know Nakano was he was short-sighted because he had one eye. But again, I swear to God, when he ended up saying, they did say there was another mayor came. So there must have been an election, a runoff election. But there's Pam. How the fuck does she get involved in it in the first place?
Why does she get involved in it? How does she get involved in it? How does she win? There's literally no.
Was it the Green Knights? Because that's the last thing I was reading. That's like 20 issues ago. When does she decide? Why would she want to be that?
Yeah, and apparently there's no way. I'm sorry. There's just no way that you can make this make sense to me. There isn't. But they don't even try in this book.
No.
Now, apparently it's in her solo title. I posted about it in the Slack. I was like, where the did this happen? And somebody answered in there and they gave the issue number. But like, how was I supposed to know that? Yeah. There wasn't even a goddamn editor's note to tell me that.
This is huge. And
this is insane.
It happened in a lesser book. You have to let people know. And the idea where I know that nobody knows. I said before we started, because people went nuts when they said, oh, Ivy's a good girl. She's a hero. People went nuts. It went on. There was the Poison Ivy League fighting with everyone, all that bullshit. So the idea that Pam is now the mayor, I know nobody knows because I didn't see these hateful assholes on Twitter and YouTube yelling about it. There would be like 50 million, like, holy moly, and nobody's saying anything because nobody knows or cares. And I had said, the Poison Ivy book seems to have okay numbers. People always said to me, it's only because of variant covers. It's the variant covers because they're sexy covers and they get on. I agree with them now. I saw the variant
cover and it looks good.
They all look great.
Issue.
I agree with them now. G. Willow Wilson, though, the idea that this didn't become known by anybody, it seems, and I kind of seem to, I try to be in the know a little, and I had no idea. And when it happened, I'm like, I heard you guys, I saw you guys bitching about it first. I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit. And then I was like, well, maybe something. And I thought Vandal Savage would say, and then I'll let you go. Vandal Savage would say, man, we finagled you to be mayor. Now do your job. Nope, because you were elected. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Your initial reaction to Poison Ivy as mayor is, that's fucking absurd. So then you really need to work to justify that, right? And maybe in the Poison Ivy book, they did that. I doubt it, but maybe. So, but let's just say that they did. I'm going to throw a little bit of shade at Simon here real quick because he's not here to defend himself. But he posted in the Slack, like he posted a little meme basically saying people bitch about wanting a connected universe and then who's going to go read the lesser title so they can get informed about the connected universe and nobody wants
to. But they have to inform us.
But yeah, that's the thing. That's not a connected universe. A connected universe would have been 3 issues ago for Batman to say, I can't believe Poison Ivy's ahead in the polls.
Where is it? Where he's there in his house and it comes over the TV, right?
Right. And then there's an editor note that says, see Poison Ivy, blah, blah, blah.
And then you go and look.
Whatever. And then you go and look. That's a connected universe. Just having something in a book that I didn't even know was doing this, have it just appear here, and then they don't even tell me that they did it in the other book. Like, that's not a connected universe. It's incompetent.
Also,
it's just incompetent.
Going the opposite way, if I'm G. Will Wilson, I'm like, the fuck, guys? Like, that would be an issue. People would buy it. I mean, if they see it here and say, yeah, and here's the deal. You go, hey, I got to go see the mayor. He walks in, and there's, oh, hey, Mayor Isley. And you need to have that editor's note of like, yeah, I'm surprised as you. Go see, like, something like you're winking at the idea. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it did happen. Go see Poison Ivy 42.
If you have a baseline level of competence, then you would have an editor's note in here that says, go see Poison Ivy, whatever issue number it is, to see how she became mayor. If you have a actually connected universe that you want readers to get involved with, then you would have, like I said earlier, 3 issues ago, or whenever that arc started, go see, Poison Ivy's running for mayor to see what happens. Go see Poison Ivy, whatever the arc name is called, issue number 43 or whatever it is. Like, that's how you set up a connected. You don't even have the baseline level of competence to retroactively say, go out and buy that.
Have drunk detective and young kid walking down the street, and they go by a rally that she's having, and like, oh, what's going? Like, be in tune. This feels like it's like they're playing catch up, but the idea, it's not mustard, but you end up where it just happens, and it seems silly. And then when you go and do that, like, again, at the beginning, if you want to have a connected universe, like I said, I thought, oh my God, Oliver Queen, yeah, he's in town. And that'd be cool. Tie that in, because that could have been Oliver. It doesn't have to be Alan Scott. It's Alan Scott to put Alan Scott on the cover and say, oh man, cool guest star, which one of the 10 out of 10s. That's one of the reasons they go, oh man, this book is so great. I'm like, get out of here. Again, this mayor nonsense. And so, like you said, what you're going to have is Pam say like, oh, almost like as the reader, like, oh, you're going to go against the bad family. Yeah, we've seen this before, but I don't think I'm into it.
Why would I do that?
Why would I do that?
Politically?
Yeah, even then, like, I should be like, I don't want anything to do with this bullshit. She's just sitting there. I like the idea. She's probably sitting there because she says, hey, sit down. I have all these files. She's probably like, these trees were killed. She's trying to talk to the paper. But then you end up where Vandal Savage just basically says, oh, by the way, you want to hear about me? I went through all this stuff. I was a kid. And then that even turns into them talking with Batman talking about it. This, I guess, Matt Fraction really thought that people needed to know the background of Vandal Savage. And when you're there, I'm like, well, I know that. It's fine. Not everybody does. So you're going to get that. But what about the Minotaur? What about all the Joker? All these other bigger things where I'm like, you are, like I said, it feels like you're playing catch up in this issue for no reason, because get this, the bad people are bad. Shit goes down.
That's what the cop says.
Yeah. And the cop, in my mind, between the Batman and the Vandal Savage deal, the cop's in the middle to be the common man to explain to us that the same old shit happens. You end up where you have to keep going on and being strong. And this young kid, you could be a hero, whatever, but the world's going to bring you down, and bad people are bad. But it ends up almost like whatever.
The thrust of his story that he's telling is that he used to think people were shades of gray.
Yeah.
And he doesn't believe that anymore. He thinks it's black and white. People are good, people are hurt people, or they don't. And it's kind of an interesting, it's kind of like a hot take, right? Like, it's kind of an interesting perspective to have. And he basically says that, there are good people and there are bad people, and it's that simple. And the good people are people that help people, and the bad people are the people that hurt people.
Yeah,
and it's that simple. And the good people are the ones who help people who want nothing in return, right? And and that's the kind of contrast against, he's basically laying out the contrast between Batman and Alan Scott, who help people because they want to, and Vandal Savage and Poison Ivy, who are
Poison
transactional.
Ivy is kind of like that, more Vandal Savage. But here's the thing
but they're just transactional. If they help people, it's because it serves their interest, not because they want to help.
That might be a hot take if I'm telling my kids. This is a comic book universe. We're talking about Vandal Savage, who is
he's
100%. So the idea that this guy's like, yep, here we are in this DCU. You know what? Bad guys are bad. Because obviously in a comic book universe, for the most part. Now, I love when you do get the shades of gray with certain characters, villains, and heroes. But for the most part, in this issue, you are, like you said, Alan Scott and Batman. Oh, yeah, they're good. Batman has given up his life for all this. So, yeah. And then you get Vandal Savage and Poison Ivy. Again, Poison Ivy, who has skirted around whatever, but really one of her big things that she even thinks about herself, she'll do whatever, and she'll blow up. If somebody is doing tests on 3 seeds, she'll blow up a building and kill 5,000 people to save that. Yeah. So it's all like you said, and especially Vandal Savage.
In the book too.
So the hot take in this is not that hot, because you're in a superhero versus villain universe where the two sides here are black and white.
Yeah, and because of that, it feels more like he's talking to us than he is talking to the kid. Because he's really more.
That kid is bored.
And and the other, and he does speak to some current event stuff too that we're not going to get into.
That's whatever. But again, I'm reading this as I want to know what's going on in this book, and I'm like, I don't need this bullshit. You're doing nothing.
So that's the thing. Like, we have these 3 basic stories. They're fairly straightforward, and even the dialogue in them individually by themselves is pretty good. like I found that conversation with that guy and the kid to be somewhat interesting.
Okay. Kid doesn't really say much else. He's being lectured to, is the deal, right?
Yeah, but it's fine. Then we have the conversation between Vandal Savage and Poison Ivy, right? And that one was not really very interesting because it's mostly Vandal Savage giving out his history, which I already know, and then him just basically saying, "Hey, look, you need an army to enact the radical change that you want to bring. If you go to war, if you declare war on Batman for me, my police force will be your army." Okay, and like that's okay, fine, like, whatever.
And then people think it's on the up and up. We can do it. We'll make the GCPD good because we're now legally allowed to go after them, even though it's kind of vigilante. And they already they declared that before. But again, it's on the books, and it's playing the idea of, hey, I'm going to swindle this. It might not be right, but I'm going to put it on the books so it's law, and we'll just skirt the issue of all that, and we'll just go and attack. It just, you don't really need it. We already had before. But again, it feels like it's kind of doing things in the current times, and it's whatever.
And the dialogue is decent between them. It's okay. And then so our third story is Batman and Alan Scott talking basically about Vandal Savage. They give a little bit of his background, and basically Batman called Alan Scott over because he said, like, hey, you were the first one to really run into him, like as part of the JSA back in the day. Right. And so he wants to get Alan Scott's insight. He wants to pick his brain. And basically what Alan Scott boils down to it is that, like, hey, look, he says he's stuck here, although he doesn't say why. I thought that was really weird and disjointed. And
because they bring up Gotham War and they talk about the meteorite and the three. The whole thing with those whole, we had to get the 3 trinkets and stuff. That got lost in the shuffle back then anyway. But again, at least it throws it in.
Well, he says literally, what if it's survival that's keeping him here? What if he can't leave?
Yeah, and you want to make it seem like they. You
want to make it seem like they know, but they don't know, and so Alan Scott's jumping to this conclusion that he just happens to be right about. But like the main thing is like, look, he's here, he's trapped in this city with you, Batman, the guy who beats him at his own game all the time. So now he's going to beat you at yours. This is a personal vendetta. And again, like I was saying before, this sequence in and of itself, in isolation, is fine. The dialogue's decent.
I got bored. I thought the dialogue was very boring, but
it's okay.
I'll even go from the beginning. When they're there, you have way too long to throw in where, I don't know if Matt Fraction's like, I want people to, a meme is Batman likes coffee. Okay, like you really said, and even then, Alan Scott says, why am I here? Are we talking about the quantum superconductors out of nowhere? And he's like, no, that's not why. But like you said, he wants to ask him about Vandal Savage. Batman knows about Vandal Savage. He says, I want to know because you're one of the first to fight. And we said, Batman may have been earlier, but it was weird time travel. But even then, he's like, hey, what do you know about him? And so when they go with the idea, he's here, he's stuck here, almost like he's stuck here because he realizes he wants to, it's like more about taking down Batman. Batman says there's Alan, like, it's weird. He's usually global, but now it's something in Gotham. Now, when they end up saying this, they may not know because it is a weird thing. At the end, Vandal Savage gets infected by that thing and by the meteorite. He can't leave the city limits. The problem is where do we ever get the scene where Vandal Savage is like, I want to get the fuck out of this town. Like, I hate being here. I'm a global. Like, I am immortal, and now I'm stuck in this shit town. And then make that the idea. If I'm stuck here, and also, how does he get out? Why isn't there a side deal of him thinking, okay, if I take down Batman, do this, whatever it would be. But even if it's just like, if I'm here, I'm going to burn this shit down. But wouldn't he be trying to figure out a way to get out? He's just kind of hanging.
Yeah, like it's weird if you really want to get into Vandal Savage's motivations. Like, you would think the most logical motivation for him would be to find some way to break the curse. In which case, you could get an interesting story where Vandal Savage is forced to team up with Batman to resolve the curse.
Maybe team up with Catwoman. Catwoman ended up having the 9 lives curse as well.
Oh, Jesus,
and she was involved. She got hit by the meteor. She was like the other one. Like, has he looked into any of this? Is he digging at the spot where the meteor was? Is he trying to do crazy mumbo jumbo supernatural shit? He's done nothing.
You could even tie them together and say, like, Vandal Savage's motivation here he knows that Batman will never help him escape the bounds of Gotham City. So the only way he can do it is he wants to take over Gotham City and make it hell for Batman and say, hey, I will make this all go away if you help me escape the city.
And maybe they'll get to that at the end, but you gotta hint to it. And also, Batman's the wagon. So he just wants to ride that fucking wagon out. But maybe there's have him doing something that in the side, occasionally, like somebody walks into a room and he has some crazy supernatural book that's like breaking curses or something. And we know what he's doing because, again, he's immortal. He ends up where he's been everywhere. And now he's stuck in this shit town. And to me, it would drive him nuts. He seems to be happy. He's like, oh, also in this.
Well, might as well make the most of it.
Yeah, he's like, let's go against the Batman, whatever. But again, if this was Ra's al Ghul, make a lot more sense because he has that personal deal very against Batman. But he's also always wants Gotham, like, I can make Gotham better. But Vandal Savage is just there and is stuck there very unnaturally to then be the deal. But that also where when you see, I'm telling you, some people who just jumped into this, oh, Vandal Savage, he's there. Like, there's just like Poison Ivy. And so when Poison Ivy comes up as mayor, they're probably like, fuck it, Vandal Savage, commissioner, what the hell? And we do go, there's some cool things about Vandal. Basically, he's eaten everybody throughout time. That's what he does. And the other thing that got me is Alan Scott got the least imaginative freaking constructs in this. He's like, look at the timelines. And there's a line and then a smaller line. You really needed to do that? And then he's like, it's as if it's this big, and it's a circle. That's great, Alan. But again, it didn't have to be Alan. Because then what it boils down to then is, well, you want to get guest stars and hey, you were the first one. But a lot of other members, it could have been because basically by the end, then Batman says, well, what I really wanted you here is I wanted to have you join me to have coffee because I want people to see me as a normal guy. I want them to see Batman as an everyday guy.
Well, I think it was more that he wanted people to see Batman like Batman knows the city's out to get him, and he doesn't care. He's going to sit here and drink coffee anyway. He's not afraid. He's not going anywhere. They find out
at the end that, oh my God, we're, the headline Batman and Robin are a deal. But he's like, I think he thinks they've lost
had the
touch
police
with
after him before.
Well, they always do. It's Vandal Savage. But yeah, he's like, everybody's kind of lost. I want people to know. At the beginning, Alan Scott fights the Axe Gang. And he's like, hey, and they'll give us that ring. And he uses the construct. It's not that great. Batman comes down and says, yeah, I knew you could take them. I said it's a weird deal where you have like a Jackie Chan type references. Because in the Drunken Master 2, there is an Axe Gang. It's the best fight ever in movies, I think. And then the next panel, the drunken cop, ex-cop's like, Samu, and Samu Hung was a friend. It means nothing. I don't think they're doing it. It was just weird. But the Axe Gang even says, I wanted the Axe Gang to see me as well. Like, I want people to know that I'm there for him, and I'm not just this dark, like, almost like he doesn't want to be exactly the dark, brooding, fear-inducing to everyone. So there's Batman. So I would rather have, like, there's nobody in this fucking diner. Nobody's seeing shit. You have two people there. But why does he need Alan Scott? I swear he's like, I needed you here because I wanted to pretend I had friends. And then even at the beginning, Alan's like, hey, you're kind of opaque and you're kind of a jerk. And Batman, it's nice to see Batman say, I know that I'm kind of an asshole. But that's just me.
I like that moment.
And he ends up, it's funny because there's Alan Scott, but I don't ever think of Alan Scott as the happy-go-lucky dude. Like, it might have made more sense for Wally West or something like that. And in
if
the
you
meantime,
want to show that juxtaposition, but I mean, I get it. I do like how he keeps calling him a young man. You're a difficult young man, or whatever it is.
Because he is older. But yeah, so then he's like, what? Because I like coffee. So Batman likes coffee. Tell the world. Nobody cares. So he's there. I want everybody to see me. I want him to know. But legit, by the end, that means nothing because now he's a bad guy. So are we going to get what usually happens? I'm guessing it happens. We're going to get the Spartacus moment. At one point, Batman's going to get the shit kicked out of him. Vandal Savage is going to be over him. Bloody knuckles. I'm taking you in. And then all of a sudden the crowd gathers. I'm Batman. It's a Spider-Man deal. Yeah, I think we're going to. Because that's what always happens with this shit.
That's entirely possible.
It always happens. And the city is going to be.
I do love that moment. I'm a sucker for that moment, though.
Yeah, it just happens. It gets so me every times. And it happened in Batman somewhat recently, the last bunch of years. But again, it's just a weird play.
Here's the last, like, kind of really thing I feel like I have to say about this book, which is that, so we have these 3 stories. Each one of them in isolation is fine. It's good to fine. And like, if you had something
else with it,
if you go back and read them, like just like on their own separately, like it actually works a little bit better. One of the big problems I had with this issue is the way that these stories, like these 3 plot threads, just jump from one to another. Dialogue boxes from one scene will overlay over the other scene, or like, it'll turn to a narration box on the other scene. It's something that Tom King likes to do a lot. Like
Scott Snyder does as well.
Yeah, but we'll be having a conversation with Batman and Alan Scott, and then all of a sudden we'll see the dialogue box from the detective and the kid, right? And it just and so you're kind of bouncing back and forth, and it's really hard to find your footing in this story. And it's one of the pet peeves of mine that I really have. Like, it makes for a disjointed and awkward reading experience that actually lessens the impact of each individual story. Like, like we'll lean into book bitch Brad here for a minute. We never do in a novel. We never have a dialogue between 2 people and then have a dialogue box or a set of dialogue from a completely different 2 people about a completely different subject in a completely different scene as the very next dialogue that you read, and then jump back to the first one.
And they think they're being clever. The idea where Poison Ivy's talking, he's like, listen, I haven't been in this politics for long, but every transaction has an equal and opposite what's in it for me? To then have the drunk ex-detective go, listen, son, these things are transactional. Like, okay, we get it. And then it goes from that scene for him to keep going and saying, hey, just be wise and brave, and just realize that a lot of times nobody comes to help. And then you go to Batman, it's like, we're going to help. Get out of here. I know that Batman and Alan Scott are good, and I know that Vandal Savage and Poison Ivy are bad. The thing that's interesting, at one point, the Vandal Savage says, listen, we know that with me and you, we're exotics. We take what we want. I have eaten so many people. I didn't ask them about it, but look, we're going to play their game now. We're going to use the law, the letter of the law, to do the awful things. And then says, you get more with honey. I'm like, I don't think that makes sense together.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. It's not him saying, listen, the shit we're do bad, that'll be on the down low. We're going to pretend that we're the greatest. We're so nice. We're even going to put in a law that Batman is now deputy mayor. Like, the weird thing, would be that. No, he's like, we're going to fuck around with people, use the law. Like, no, that's not honey. And then at the end, you almost get the idea, because they're walking, the kid and the detective guy, they're walking, and they go, and it's like, listen, real trouble comes, and they keep thinking they're going to get arrested. Like, at one point, the cops put the lights on, and they would get upset. And I think that's even going with, in real life, unfortunately, a color thing, but the idea that they might have some tension going, that some people know what they have or whatever. So they're just prancing around. And then he's like, listen, we're not in trouble, not yet. We'll know when that comes, when real trouble comes. But then when they go around, this building's on fire, I'm like, is that his apartment that he lived? I don't know. And again, is this like the idea, because there's just a building on fire, and I'm thinking, oh, they're fucking with this kid already. Like, but he just sits there. It's not like he's like, Mom, Dad. No, don't know. It's just a building on fire. I'm like, hey, look at that. The police are there. They got the ladder trucks. Oh, neato. Yeah. Like, it means nothing. And so it's not even like Vandal Savage was like, in talking to Poison Ivy, first we're going to start by sending a message. And then, oh shit, nothing. It's just a building on fire. I'm like, okay, what is that? And then that's where you get the end, where it's Alan's like, hey, I got to go. Batman tries to turn this whole thing. By the way, those superconductors, you're close, but it's a forever solution. Don't go temporary. But forever solutions are expensive. They always are. All right, buddy. And then you end up having this guy deliver papers and looks over and looks a little weird, right? And even Alan Scott's like, I'd look fucking weird if I saw Batman out and about, right? It's right, like, oh shit. So he goes over, he's like, let me see what's going. I wanted him to grab like 10 papers, like he's a piece of shit. But he ends up, all right, he goes and he has $250 for the paper. He gets it and I says, oh no, GCPD versus Batman and Robin. I'm like, Man, that fucking wall went through quick.
Yeah,
that went in like
did.
5 seconds. Like it's that night. Stop the presses. So you have that there.
Stop the
and
presses.
you have a crazy deal that legit looks like Tim Drake, who's like, and I think that's going to be the play as well. The idea of, I'm not fucking Robin anymore. And he's going to get harassed somehow. I don't know why, because they wouldn't know it's Tim Drake. But the idea of, is that going to be, or he's going to have to come back and save him? No, it looks like the Red Robin costume, though.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's weird. But even so, it's just, we've seen this a million times. We saw it in the book. So
I found the page that drove me nuts with that, like interweaving the 3 stories and bouncing back and forth. It's fairly early on the book. In 2 pages, we go from the dude pontificating, the detective pontificating about people being good or bad, nuanced complexity, over the top of Alan Scott taking down the Axe Gang. And then Vandal Savage suddenly jumps in, says, you said it yourself, radical transformation. And he goes on about the Bat family. Then we cut back to the old guy talking about reasons they do can get complicated. Then we jump back to Vandal Savage. Then we jump to Batman coming to talk to Alan Scott. That's in 2 pages.
Yeah.
And so, like, when was the last time you watched a movie and you had a dude pontificating who's in a completely different scene while the action scene's going on?
Yeah, it's crazy. And
like, it's just, you don't do it because it's jarring for the reader, for the watcher.
And I swear to God, it's just, man, son, a lot of people are good. Then you jump, hey there, Alan Scott, I like the coffee. And people are bad. Vandals, hey there, Poison Ivy.
We gotta stop the Batman.
Saying this, I'm like, I get it. Like, really, at the end, you didn't really do much. You didn't do much at all except say, oh no, wanted. GCPD versus Batman and Robin. Just an odd way to frame it. It just should be wanted. Batman and Robin, vigilantes, this must end. Whatever. There's a warrant. There's like a nonsense. So there you go. This is what you get for having fucking Poison Ivy as the mayor and Vandal Savage as the commissioner. Yeah,
you get what you deserve.
At one point, he's on a pile of bodies eating a leg. I like him in his like colonial look. He looks cool there. Yeah. But he ate somebody. Like the guy's eating everybody. Stop it. And so there you go. What would you give it?
Yeah, so I mean, I got to be honest. Like, this issue kind of made me mad. Like, the weird thing is, I can't say it's written poorly. The dialogue is good. The characterizations are good. It looks pretty decent, though it is a step down from Jorge Jimenez. But the overall nature of this title, of this run as a whole, like, really just destroys any momentum or excitement or impact of what happens in a given issue, because you have no idea if we're going to even touch on it again for 6 months. The structure of this issue itself is disjointed and actively annoying to read. There's a major event with Pamela Isley being mayor that makes no sense. It's in a completely different title. It has a huge impact on this one. It doesn't even bear a mention from anybody. Like, it's insane. I'm going with a fuck you 5 on this one. Show me.
I had it loaded.
Yeah, you did.
Fuck you 5!
And I had it loaded because I give it a fuck you 5.
Yeah. Fuck you 5!
Which I kind of hinted at when I said that Gabe gave it a 5.5. I had already known that's what I was giving it because, again, the big play of it with that and us talking about, the whole deal and whatever, you can say the dialogue is okay. But I don't think the issue itself is written well because it infuriated me the whole time and everything in it. Fair, yeah. So I can't just say, oh, it's good, but it's not good. And it's now become a thing with this book. We keep saying it. And I hate to say it. I've done this with, say, Absolute Flash. We kind of did it with JSA, but not really. But the idea that we want it to be better, we keep hoping. At the end of a lot of these Batman issues, we end with, well, I don't know that I love the way the pacing is, but I'm hoping it ties together. Or, hey, that's interesting. Oh, I hope that we get back to that. And it's at a point now, 8 issues in. I say you give a book 3 issues and you get the lay of the land. This one was a little different because you did jump back and forth, whatever. 8 issues is enough for me to say, okay, I like the direction. Okay, I think I like the way this is going. I don't like the way this is going. I don't feel any excitement when this book comes out anymore. When we have to read it, I just end up where, I open it up and I'm like, please, I hope this is good. And sometimes it's like with Zeller. I'm not going to say it was good. Some of it was fun. We did have some fun with her, you more than me. But last issue, boy, you had a cliffhanger. Beyond cliffhangers, this idea of the Joker and this new status quo of him in the tube and Batman, and then him saying, okay, Bruce, and we think Zeller's freaking out in the deal like she heard. And then we get to this bullshit. And it and again, what does it do? The idea, and I'll say, the idea that Batman, oh my God, he's won it. Well, he always is. Usually Gordon will be there, but the GCPD, they're crooked at point, but he's never on the full up and up. But even
the pendulum on that swings back and forth all the time. Sometimes he's cool and he's tight with Gordon, and
it's usually Gordon, right? It's just Gordon, and he gets shit for that sometimes. So
sometimes, and then sometimes it's he's at war with the police department. The police department are trying to bring him in. We've done it in the movies both ways. We've done it in the comics. There's nothing new about this. And so if there was something new about it, it might be a little bit more exciting. But even if there was something new about it, I don't know if we're going to deal with it for 3 months.
No, and that's what and the no money. It reminds me of all of a sudden you have Green Lanterns at one point where they said that Jessica Cruz, and this is that Sam Humphries deal, and Jessica Cruz needs to get a job. And I always say it these jobs never work out. Why do you want to see them be heroes, or do you want to see them working at a diner? Because Jess was working at a diner. That lasted 2 issues and then off to space. So when you have Batman, the police are after him, okay, but that doesn't lead for me to a lot of good stories. That means that Batman's out stopping crime, but then at the end, the GCPD show up. You're under arrest, Batman. He throws a smoke bomb and runs. Or he gets arrested. But that's not, the deal. And it just drives me nuts. But yeah, this book is, it needs an enema. It needs something. It needs to get better. Does. It needs to get some focus. I love the idea that Matt Fraction had what he thought was a great idea. I want to give people their money's worth. I don't think we've gotten our money's worth in 8 issues yet, let alone one. So it's one of those. But people love Batman, and there's a lot. It took Tom King. Now, also, I want to say I was going to bring up earlier, Jim Gordon needs to go to some crazy anger management, right? Because the guy punches out Vandal Savage. It's fine. Remember when he took that vintage bat and went up and destroyed the bat signal in Tom King's run? This guy really flips his lid at points and does really bad things. But it's Jim Gordon. But again, even Vandal Savage is we're going to have to figure this out. And he's got a picture of Gordon and then a picture of, I don't know who. I was going to ask you, is that is it Renee Montoya? I don't even know who that other.
I think it was Renee.
And it's weird to be we'll get that Renee Montoya who hasn't been on the force and is up on the watchtower as the sheriff. I think you're a little behind the times there, buddy. But we'll see. Maybe that was something else. But I thought it was Renee Montoya. We'll move on to the next book. Adventures of Superman, Book of Smell is what I told you. I'd call it, but it's number 7, Book of L. This book, you're going to, first off, you're going to say that at least you like this issue because you knew what was going on. I'm with you. I think of Simon, where I'll say, what is going on in this book? And then you could say, well, I know what's going on. I don't mean particularly the idea of the black racer and Superman. I don't mean that. What I mean is why? Who is this? I said at the beginning that this book was for hardcore Philip Kennedy Johnson fans. I still go with it. I just think this is for Philip Kennedy Johnson. Well,
that's been my take for a while.
I just think it's a vanity thing. If he's just I'm just going to do what the fuck I want. I'm leaving anyway, especially now. At least by the end. I mean, we're in issue 7. By the end, at least we get to something from that future state that I just wanted to see the kids. I just wanted to see some fun. And it's been so far from that.
Well, one thing I'll say, too, is that, okay, first of all, I had to look up this Pyros the Red dude because that Book of L came out 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I didn't remember. I knew that it was one of those guys. And then I looked up.
I knew.
Did you think the same thing when you looked it up? It's oh, man, Superman banged Cersei? Holy shit. That's all I thought. And then I'm okay, they're going to explain it that Cersei did some crazy magic thing.
Crazy magic shit.
Didn't you say? That's all I could think of. And
that was
my
first
oh,
thought
shit.
too. I was like, when did he bang Cersei?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Like, why not? Like, she's got it going on. Like, that's his goth mama.
Jesus. But like at one point when we get to what's his face, the dude with the mohawk that I think is pretty cool. No, that guy with the mohawk.
The other guy. That's the problem, though. Which guy? I know who you're talking about, and that's all you can do in this book.
He's the one who saves her.
Yeah, the one
point,
that saves her again, which seemed ridiculous by the end. He basically hip checks the Black Racer.
He does,
right?
Which is cool.
It's cool, but I don't think that's kind of possible. But he does it. But again,
but my point is that what I was getting at with that, bringing that up, is that when I thought about at that point, I was like, that was pretty cool. I like this dude's look with the mohawk. He's pretty cool.
Well, yeah.
I would like to know more about him. Why did we spend the first 6 issues of this book faffing about with nonsense when this is supposed to be the follow-up to the House of L book with all these cool-looking characters, and we could have been spending that time...
I don't care about Orgrim. I like the idea that if it was one of those things, maybe Superman is sick, you have the twins, and legit, if you're writing a book, please get their names right. They're some of the biggest characters. Otho ends up becoming Ursula at one point, which is ridiculous. But
Philip Kennedy Johnson mixes up his own name.
There's so many names. But in the meantime, like, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe the play is. I didn't love this issue. But it does do some things. And I didn't like the idea that Otho ends up becoming the Black Racer, which seemingly might put that... Again, I don't know that anybody's using the twins after Phil, and I think he realizes that, so he wants to kind of maybe finagle some other ways. But becoming the Black Racer is crazy, which throws a lot of the shit that I would love to see later. You really can't do it if that remains. But in the meantime, it is something. But the idea, like you said, you have so many names in it. You don't know these other characters that do look interesting. At the end, you do get one of the sons, but I'm like, that's cool. But maybe the last 6 issues starting here, maybe it will get better. Maybe it will be okay, now at least it's doing something. And but in the meantime, we
did all of this nonsense in the first half of the book with Ronan and Rowan, and we did like this all this stuff with Oldren and all this random light guardian people and all this other stuff. And it's like, I wanted to learn about these people. Oh, and by the way, it's been 2 issues that we haven't seen mention of Rowan or Ronan. What happened to them? They were a huge part of this book.
And I'm sure they'll pop up as you go, that they'll keep going. But I'm telling you, like you start out, and even the idea is like, hey, you have to throw in Superman's name. The Unbelningao. I'm like, okay, yeah. Oh, Isaiah's, okay, yeah. And then you go in one of the lines, I don't know why this word bubble got, but it was starting with, our Zaz is flaring.
Oh, yeah.
Stay good and close to Anya till it passes. All the stations are armed, Alora L. All the markers hung, scabs and sundrakes. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then, good, Valkyries, test your chains and get to your stations. I'm like I don't know what the fuck you just said.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, English. Do you speak it? Yeah. Like I'm sitting here.
Oh my God.
I straight up rolled my eyes.
Yeah.
Right when we got that, I was like, oh my God, Philip Kennedy Johnson with this. Like, what does this even mean?
Yeah.
What is this? I don't know what any of this means. This is nonsense.
But if you get through, it's almost like the idea that you are reading a different language. And as you're reading it, you understand a little. But then you start to think about it and you realize, oh my God, like this is the thing. Normally, like say I'm reading War and Peace in Russian. I don't know a lot but I'm like, boy, this is good. I need to learn this Russian to get. But this is like, oh God, like I kind of know what's going on, but boy, you really flowered it up with this bullshit. I do like the idea that they said Superman, he went to save everybody in World War, but it's really his children that are going to save him. I'm like, okay, like that's cool. Good, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to the next deal. You have all that bullshit to then get to go back to, oh, by the way, and they say Othara, but hey, you want to save Superman, your papa, you got to do that. And they're concerned. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got it. But they get it so buried. in this deal of even that, take the vessel for Olgrim's wrath, the belt, the racer carries, and make for the twin sons. I'm like, that's that. I don't even know what you're saying.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm getting
yourself up. Well, so that's the thing, though, right? Is like what you have is a fairly straightforward story. Like Othel or Osel, whichever one she is. I always get them confused. And so does Philip Kennedy Johnson, actually, in this issue between pages 3 and 6.
Yeah.
But she has to. The Black Racer is going to come to claim Superman. She has to grab his belt, race through these 5 suns, staying ahead of the Black Racer so she doesn't get caught. When she goes through those 5 suns, it'll ignite the belt. She puts it on Superman, and he'll come back to life.
And he'll come back to life.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good setup. It's a good, straightforward, action-packed story, and you just grafted on all this cruft of this crazy language and nonsense. I think in a previous episode I called them Greebles. Which is like
Greebles. Again, I was trying to think of the deal. Yeah, but that's what it is.
Star Wars term, sorry. Yeah. Just grafted it on there to make it sound cooler. And you didn't.
So you're putting all
that.
the tribbles on it, and then you again when you're doing it though, it's like you don't need it, and it pulls it back. And this is, you said it before. What this book constantly does to me is pulls me out of it. I want to be in the story. I like the twins. Now I'm thinking, the hell's her real name? Because you're going all over. You end up where
I think her real name is Othel. I think she's Othel.
It is Othel. And Ursula is the boy. So you end up where Othel. I want to, like, she's cute. It's very big of, I want to save my pa. That's huge. It's a little kid who's scared and hasn't really, she's the star child, all that nonsense. But she's going to step it up and she's going to save Superman. I want to be on the edge of my seat. First off, you barely show the Black Racer. I think that even the way they frame the deal, they're more of trying to show you how cool she is and whatever. But usually when you have this, and we had a story with a new Black Racer in the future state, and they even did it there. Mm-hmm. Somehow I thought it might have been Jeremy Anderson. I can't remember. But the idea of this, you want to feel the threat. I never felt the threat of the Black Racer. Yeah, he gets close. And then you have a hip check because she's not going to do it. But in the meantime, I want to be like, oh my God, she's not going to get there. I kind of know she will. But I just never got it. I'm like, just go there. And when you do it, it just becomes, oh, watch out for that stuff. Like, oh no, the twin sons Bohr and Biram, the Cloud Nebula, Bajortzels. I'm like, what?
Well, when you spend all this time with all this cruft grafted on here, all these greebles stuck all over the place, like that's time that you could have spent mining the emotional connection.
Jesus
that
Christ.
Othel
could have went for the last bit to say goodbye to Superman, saying, I'm going to try to do this, Pa, but I don't know if I can. And have him like, suddenly he gives the thumbs up.
Well, you don't even have to do anything like that.
Just have her go and crying and saying, I'm going to do this for you, but also for my brother. And I don't think I can do it, but I have to. Do something. Give me some feels for it. And you don't. You just keep adding shit.
The most feel that you get in this issue, which is kind of crazy, is when Mohawk dude, and I'm trying to find his name.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Mohawk dude. Oh, Connell. There's his name. Connell.
Yeah. K-A-H-N.
Yeah. The Genghis Khan, right?
Or Madeline Khan.
There you go. So he's like, they see, oh, she's not going to make it. The Black Racer's gaining on her, and he's like, he's going to go interfere, and he's like, if I die, I'm going to die, and that's fine. If I die, he says this kind of place. Don't let that lard ass Betlon touch my sword.
The problem, I got mad at that point because of the idea of like, why didn't you set up this stuff? I don't even know what he's talking about. So I'm like, that would be hilarious. That would be, Han doing something crazy and saying, hey, listen, I'm going to go. I might die. Hey, Chewie, don't let Lando wear my fucking outfit. I'm the head now. Like, and you'd be like, oh, that's great. Because you set up the thing and the idea where he's always been like, hey, first off, a lard ass. But, you have this guy and he's always yelling about him. But at the end, it's that joke of he loves everybody he's got. But, it's just there. And it just falls flat for me.
But
I do like his look, though.
I do like his look. And it didn't land the way you would want it to.
It could have landed if you set it up.
But it could have. But the thing is, even then, like, just the fact that he's going to sacrifice himself to make this happen. I'm always down for a noble sacrifice. my point is like, there's not even much emotional connection there, but I got more from that than I did
than anything else
from Othel trying to save her father, which should be it should be
huge.
Drawing you through this issue. You should feel her desperation. You should feel her fear, and you don't.
I wanted to see the Black Racer skis too. It's so stupid.
Yeah, he didn't have
Jack Kirby nonsense. It looks like at one point they're trying to make it in kind of like light,
like a weird
fire.
Way. Like there's like a light fire.
Yeah, and he has
this
pole deal. Like, but
they don't even really look like ski poles.
No,
so
and
like,
again, that's what I'm saying.
Stupid.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really get me though. Like you see him, and he doesn't look that very kind of looks goofy, but he just kind of blends in with everything else, and I'd never felt the threat. So again, and Byla would be maybe the guy. And he does kind of, but he should be the guy who pulls her and inspires her and says, listen, because he's kind of the storyteller deal. And like, hey, nobody's done this before, but that doesn't mean you can't. You're Superman. You're his daughter. You're going, whatever the deal is. And that means I have hope. Something, but you don't get anything. And you just end up everybody else going, she ain't going to do it. That's not doing it for me. That's not making it any more of a threat. Or anything for you, just lip servicing of they're not going to do it.
I think that's how they're trying to build the tension.
And
although I will say there's some good stuff in this. Like they're showing everybody trying to help her, right? Like at one point they try to use chains to hold the Black Racer
back. They say
it's
not going to help, but they're going to try anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Con-El goes. Then they hook their jet sled bikes to her and to pull her faster. Like that's kind of cool. To keep her out of the Black Racer's hands, and then Con-El shows up. Like there's actually, I always get geography. I talk about geography and choreography, and that it's actually pretty good in this. It's always very clear. The book looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks great.
I actually love the way that this issue looks. The art's basically like an 8 or 9 out of 10 on its own, in my opinion. But so anyway, it looks great. The action's great, but I just don't have we're talking about that emotional connection. And then you get to the end, right? She does that. She charges up the belt. I like the way the belt. They show the belt light up as she gets each star, which is pretty cool. So you understand how she's progressed. There's the geography for you. You understand how she's progressing in the quest. That she has to completely see the Black Racer's hand getting closer to her at different points, and people interfering. It's good. And then you get the big twist at the end. The Black Racer's like, such as I cannot be beaten. You didn't save her. You just turned her into me. And then she becomes the Black Racer. And then she saves.
And then they have the thing. The Phalosians, they never thought of the Black Racer as, it's a savior. And then she saves Superman. But I don't know what that means for her and going forward. But even then, at that one point, you said that Con-El or whatever the deal. He's like, listen here. I'm going to get going. No, you'll die. Well, the girl who says that, no, it's Alora L. And she goes, no, you can't. You're going to, I don't even know the connection between those two. The idea is she upset because that's her brother, lover, both. I don't know how they do things in space. So there's no connection of it. It just, what it is I'm going to go, but you might die. It's just really shoving it in our face. Oh my God, he might die. Well, yeah, no shit. He hip checks the Black Racer. In my mind, I think he might have died, but he didn't. And I'm telling you, and although but looks cool. She's got her, look, she does have her ski poles, but you don't have the skis, which the ski poles are stupid anyway. And then oh my God, let's go and save him. And then he saves Superman and he hugs her. I want him to be like, oh shit, what are you? You're a Black Racer now. You got shit to do. Black Racer doesn't just hang. You got to go and do shit. You're done. Yeah. In my mind, this just throws the character completely. They'll try to finagle something, maybe. But to me now, that's it. She's going and she's got to collect dead and all that, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's like she can't take a few moments off to go help Superman with something.
Yeah. It's not like let's go find our brother. It's like no, you're the Black Racer now. I'm sure the Black Racer be like, listen, bitch, I wanted to have a weekend off, but you can't. I'm running around all the time.
How many
She's
stories
a new god now. It's crazy.
How many stories have we had where death takes the time off and everything goes to hell?
Shit goes wrong. Goes really
it's
wrong.
In Fables. Isn't it in Sandman? Doesn't that happen?
And it happened a bit in that that book, it didn't go quite wrong, but what it's the lives of Layla Starr, too. There was that kind of bit as well by Rem V. So all this, though, then you go back to Otho, who's in like that fire cage. And he's like, yeah, you can go. But you're like, Otho, Ra, the Star Child, there's the name. Because, he yells, oh, Papa, Mama, Otho. But this is, it's all over the place.
It is. You can't keep the names straight.
Hey, and it's Otho Ra.
I said in the Slack that the names are too similar.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it's like, hey, you're Otho Ra of World, the Red Sun, gone for 1,000 years. Remember, he has the organ in, like, he's a big deal that way. And it's like, oh, stay away. I'm the son of Superman. Son of Superman. Ha! I'm the son of Superman. And then there's a baby.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm like, that baby looks dead. Like, it looks like the baby that was in Train Spotting when they show that baby in the crib. And it's been dead for like a month and it's freaked me out since. So you end up where he's like, I'm the one son of Superman that still lives. And I'm like, oh shit, who the fuck is this? And then I'm like, Cersei, oh God. Like, man, he's getting it on. But again, at least, but then that's the weird thing too is, I don't know. I don't know what you would, I thought this was going to be 6 issues. I thought it was going to be Superman, some sort of problem where he has to go in the future and just fix something, whatever. And it would be all his sons and daughters. And we'd have some fun. Like, this is a little more dark. He doesn't look as fun as he probably did before, but at least we might get some info. But I don't know, because we're not really getting a lot of info. We're just doing nonsense, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, there you go. And that baby looks weird. So, and it ends there. But at least I did go and look, and I'm like, who's this? I kind of got excited a little. And I was like, whatever. But that's the deal. So what would you give this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this one was fine. I liked it better than Batman. It looks really good. It had good high stakes, kinetic action. It was fun. A lot of things didn't land like it should because we haven't spent any time with these characters, which is a critical failure. I don't know why we did that, but in any case, I did enjoy this actual issue itself. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
I'll give it a 5.5. If this would have been Ronan and his sister, like, then we would have a connection. Like, they're going around, you end up having Otho, and I'd have something. Like, oh man, Ronan, like, at least we know him a little, but you don't. And these characters get just thrown at you. So that is it. But we're going to go to the last book. And we did it before already. And we do like it so you can at least, have some fun listening after our misery fest. Usually we put the worst book last, but it's kind of the best. So we'll go up to that right about now. All right, we'll end things with the JSA. JSA, it's the year 1 story. It's the finale. Fin, as they say.
Fin.
And this just says end with a period. They always do something stupid. But there's fin nonsense. That's when they think they're fancy. Yeah, written by Jeff Lemire, art by Gavin Guidry, colors by Luis Guerrero, letters by Steve Wan, senior editor Andrew Marino, associate editor Marquise Draper, group editor Katie Kubert. And we have liked this story more and more as it went on, and to the point where it's one of our favorite books when it comes out.
I get excited when it comes out every issue. I look forward to it.
I'll give people a little heads up spoiler. I was worried that when we got done, I was going to be upset because I was like, oh, we have to go back to nonsense of fighting and love. And it looks like by the end, Jeff Lemire is setting up what looks like kind of a cool fresh start.
Yeah.
Maybe like a deal where it maybe should have been from the beginning. And again, the story was okay. It got better as it got to the year 1. Because we were kind of getting more info and kind of got more info.
As we were getting more of the characters interacting with each other and bouncing off each other, it became a lot more fun.
Yeah, it took a while, though, for us in the beginning of this series. So when we get to going out, it looks like we're going to end up doing more. You said even a Teen Titans Academy type thing. Combined with
that book sucked, but like the concept was good. Like it seems like we're doing a university for superheroes, school for superheroes, training kind of thing. And that should be a lot of fun.
And that seems like it's a combo of that and the Jeff Johns, how we got to this point with some of the new recruits and things. So it's kind of cool. And at the end, I'm looking forward to it because, spoiler, it involves the lost children who I love. And I think a lot of people did. Again, you wanted more of them. And that was a Jeff Johns kind of thing. So it's kind of cool. And I do want to see more of those characters. And hopefully you don't just throw tons of characters in and get what we got at the beginning. Hopefully they ease things in. And then the best thing I said, that's what Teen Titans Academy, it just was bad. Yeah. But a lot of the books, when they end up having, they try to ape like a Harry Potter type thing. This might be a little different, but even when you do, you got to show the class stuff. You got to show them learning, because that's when you get the character work. So I hope Jeff Lemire does that. Sometimes you have them and they don't even show any of that, and it just falls apart. But we'll see. But we're still at year one, this finale, and we have where it's pretty much Ultra Humanite who is doing, his plan. He's just bringing down the city. They ended up putting all those bombs in the subways. And what you do get in this, which I do like, is everybody's doing their thing, but it then becomes a team thing, even when they don't realize. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like some of the teamwork in this ends up being, well, you're here, let's do this, but it works out. And they're like, man, like we're a good team. And you see it happening, and it's pretty cool. I'll tell you, when I first went in, I forgot exactly how we ended the last issue. So when they're like, oh my God, everything's blowing up, it took me a second. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. And they have everything
I remember
going on.
Because I remember the explosion and being like, well, that's weird. I thought they were supposed to blow up the tunnels.
Yeah, and they blew up the...
And I thought they were in the basement, but they showed the explosion at the top floor, and I was just like kind of thrown off. But yeah. Yeah,
it was like Die Hard. You end up where Alan Scott saves them with a Green Lantern bubble. So they're there. And it says Gotham, summer of 1940. But then with that, I mean, even then, I love, because they're there being protected, but you have Johnny there with Thunderbolt. And finally, like, that's not the Johnny. Like, Johnny was like, hey, guys. He does it again, right? But now I'm like, all right, like, look at him. He's like stepping up.
Yeah, he was a goofball, right? Up until this point. We never really seen him do anything
like that, right?
Yeah, but here you can see he can be a hero, right? Yep. Like you didn't really get that before. You just got kind of like he was kind of fanboying a little bit, which was a lot of fun, which we loved. We loved him fanboying. We thought it was funny and it was fun. But also, you do want to see him be a hero and do heroic things. You see that he can do that.
Yeah, you see when shit's going down, like he reacts like that, and it's pretty cool. And what you're going to do is you are going to see a lot of the heroes do things like, oh, that makes sense. There, I mean, at one point, there's this little hole, and there's Adam, and he goes through, but it makes it
made me laugh.
Like, that's cool. And even then, when Flash is like, I'm gonna go and defuse the bombs, nobody's that fast. And he's like, well, we'll see. And zoom, and he goes, but it's good because they don't know how good everybody else is. And I thought that was a neat play. Like, we know the Flash is pretty fast.
Yeah,
right?
The Flash can definitely go defuse a whole bunch of bombs, but in a very, very short period of time. But basically, Lemire does a good job with the setup here of like, there's bombs going east, there's bombs going west, and the villains are escaping in a plane. We get, this is why we need a team. We need to split up and go handle this stuff. And it's just it's what you have to do when you have a team, but it's done well and it's a lot of fun. And it's fun just to see them work together.
And I like it when they do start working together. They don't have to sit there and say, because they're pretty good and they're good individually. And you see that they're kind of made to be a team. Yeah. And that's what I like. They're not bickering anymore. You don't have, hey, Adam, you're a pipsqueak. And like shit's gone down. And I think that showing Johnny do that, like, it's like, it's all serious now. And they're going to have to do this. And this ends up being, if they can stop this, obviously they'll save the city at least, but the world. And then they'd be a good team. And then you expect Johnny at a point to be, and he does. Hey, man, we're a great team. But so Flash goes up, and even Hourman says, we'll get your back. We'll get those stupid Nazis.
We'll go west, you go east. Some people are going to fight the Nazis. Some people are going to defuse the bombs. And some people are going to go after Ultra Human.
Oh, yeah.
And
so you end up Alan Scott and the Hawks. They go to get the plane. It's really good. And so you end up where, while Jay Garrick's running through those tunnels, he runs into the Spectre. Yeah. And they're like, oh, my God, like, Jim Gordon, the Spectre. Yeah. And he's holding everything up. And he's like, I can't do this forever. go and do it. And again, this is a crazy thing to run into.
Yeah.
And Jay does stuff, and then he's like, okay. He's like, you don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah,
he
just goes with it. He doesn't. He can see that he's here to help, and it doesn't really matter what he is. We'll figure this out later. Right now, I got to get these.
And then, like you said, you go and get the Hawks with Alan Scott, and they're going to get the plane. I like that Alan's trying to grab the plane with a construct hand, but then they're obviously going to fight back. And you see Carter ends up getting hit in the wings. You also have, and also the whole play with, disorienting Alan Scott, where Shire has to grab him. You have what looks like a tailspin to death from Hawkman going down. Dr. Fate shows up, and we were waiting for him. And he says, I got you, old friend. This makes me laugh because Hawkman goes, your voice, Kent Nelson? And he goes, you can call me Dr. Fate. And then distressed, he's like, are you all right, Hawkman? Because he wants to go with secret names. It just made me laugh. But again, that's cool. And we ended up like, what is Dr. Fate going to do? Before it was that big play of like, are you going to get involved, do the right thing? But he does save Hawkman. And then they go and Hawkman's like, I'm fine. And then he just smashes through that plane.
Destroys the wing.
Oh, it's so good.
Flies in. And that panel where he's standing behind Cyclotron. Yeah. That looks so cool. Oh, yeah. He's going to beat some ass.
Oh, yeah. And he says, well, I have a score to settle. And just wallops him. Later, we'll find out, like, that's how he opens letters. He taps, like, it's everything with that mace. But again, you end up with Dr. Fate.
He just smashes the top of the bottle off.
He uses that mace, and they end up where, like,
when he's in the shower, he straps the loofah to it, washes his back with it. That's
weird. And then you see the body of that base, and so it's,
that was kind of a cool little moment because they're like, oh, we gotta stop him from attacking Green Lantern, they look, he's like, base is dead. Then who the hell is attacking him? And then they turn around and you get awesome Ultra Humanite.
And again, remember, there was that weird thing of we're transporting the animals. Kind of knew. We said it then. Oh, that's what, because he was looking for a body and he needed a body. So Ultra Humanite is the giant ape with the exposed brain, which is classic. And he says, I'm the one doing this. And then you go off again. You have the rest of the team. They're fighting the Nazis. They're going down and beating the crap out of some people. And it's good. You end up with Hippolyta, like, Jesus Christ. He's like walloping everyone with those things. And you have, and it's a full team effort. You end up where Sandman's there gassing him. You have, like, Adam's just walloping one guy. Hippolyta's beating the crap out of him. She's also deflecting. What she's doing is deflecting the bullets so they can go. And that's cool. She's saving them. And then you get Amazing Man who's like, hey, I can help because they run into a dead end.
A cave in, yeah.
So he punches the rocks and like, well, that's pretty cool, but we're going to have to clear out some more stuff. I'm telling you, I don't think the atom's really fitting. Like, it barely looks like they must really hit him on the other side. But again, they're not like, hey, little guy, like everybody's on the deal.
Yeah, he's like, I got this. Mission. Look out. I'm coming in. Yeah.
And he says, just get out of here in case I can't stop this. So all of this kind of starts to come together, especially when you end up where you have Johnny, you have Our Men. They go past the Spectre. They're like, who the blazes is that? And he's just like, not who, what, I'm the Spectre. And he's just there. Again, he's holding things up still. Yeah. Johnny's pretty good, but he ends up, he's like, well, Spectre, how about Thunderbolt and I lend you a hand? And then you have Thunderbolt's like, piece of cake, old pal. And they're going to try to fix everything.
They reinforce all the
these
supports.
Bad guys. It's pretty cool. And again, when you have Our Men, he saves Johnny, who at this point, because me and you just did World's Finest, it makes me laugh because he just reminds me of Jimmy Olsen.
He reminds me of Jimmy so much.
So much. And he even acts like him.
Right? He does, he's kind of a goof,
And so they're being attacked by these, pseudo-Nazis.
Including Sportsmaster's there.
Yeah, Sportsmaster. And you end up where the Spectre then judges them and says, you guys are monsters. You're teaming up with somebody who's, do fear. You want to know real fear? I'm going to show you terror. And they're like, what in blazes? And then they just fall down. They're like, no, please. It's cool. Ends up stopping them. Then everything's paced pretty good. I mean, it is balls to the wall.
Oh, it's just one thing after another.
But I like
clear.
that. I like at points, like sometimes you'll swipe over. You're going to have to swipe to the Hawks and out. But I like that at this point, Flash comes flying back in. He just has dynamite in his hand. He's like, I got them all. And then Jim Corrigan has turned back to Jim Corrigan. He's like, I can't do this anymore. So you get that play that if you didn't know, like he does not like being the Spectre.
No, he doesn't.
It takes it all out of him. And they're like, listen, and I like this. It's like, we know what you're going. And this is led from this. We've already had Jim talking about it. And it's like, you're not
nobody
alone.
else knew, though.
Yeah,
None of these other guys here knew that he was anything special. They just thought he was a detective. So.
Yeah, and he was having
Flash
like
is a
weird deal. Yeah.
Yeah, Flash has a good dialogue where he's like, "Hey, man, you don't have to do this alone. We've all got crazy stuff, and we can help you out through this." And
which is good.
Like, thank you. Yeah,
again, that's what sets up why the team is so good. Even at the end, they're like, "Yeah, we're a team, but we're kind of a family." But because they are, they care. I mean, even this of, Jay just being finally he's a nice guy. Like once he was nice to Johnny, then he's nice to everybody. But
yeah, he is.
Yeah, and then. You end up Hourman's like, hey, Sandman, come in. Hey, everything good over there? And the Atom. Yeah. And again, the Atom, we don't have to. He comes out with a bunch of, everybody's got dynamite. And he's like, the Atom disabled the rest. So they're like, that's cool. That's good. Again, then you see that plane blowing up, but you see that Alan has used the construct. So, you end up where they're in a bubble in that. But this is the deal. Alan is pissed and he wants revenge. So he's like, this ends now. He tosses Ultra Humanite like halfway across the city, it looks like, onto the docks. And I'll tell you, the art is really good. I think. But when Ultra Humanite comes out of that smoke after he got thrown, it looks kind of funny. Something's off there, right?
His facial expression, he looks like happy.
Yeah.
Like he looks like, oh, look at the friendly little ape. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't look intimidating.
And his arms are bigger than his chest and butt. It's weird. But he comes out and he's like, you really thought that you could like do me in? I can see your thoughts and fears. This is really good. Because again, there's going to be people who are still mad about Alan Scott being a homosexual. That's what the whole thing is in his series leading to this. Ultra Humanite hints at it. But he doesn't say it. And I think that's pretty good. You don't have to go full into it. You don't have to be, crazy. But he says, I can see your perversions, that you're a degenerate. Oh, look at you. You have things that you're trying to hide. Now, in that series, the one thing that I really hated was actually you didn't get a lot of Green Lantern stuff. And I thought that Alan Scott Green Lantern book by Tim Sheridan, again, we could throw more shit at Tim Sheridan. It's almost like you end up having Jeff Lemire's like, I'm going to take some Tim Sheridan stuff and make it a little better, especially like you said, Teen Titans Academy by the end. But in this, you ended up where Alan Scott only joined the team in that book because he was blackmailed.
Yeah.
He ended up being blackmailed. And if you don't join the team, then we're going to let this out. We're going to reveal
this.
Yeah. So that always felt weird. Like, and so in this, you don't get that. You get FDR at the point, and they're like, hey, guys. But in that, you do mention, I mean, he's not completely ignoring it, but we're going to get through it quick so people don't get all triggered that get triggered. But he says, I see your deal. And he's like,
You're
don't care.
You're a degenerate. And he's like, I don't care. Right?
Yeah. And
you
he's
call
like,
me
whatever.
a degenerate? Look at you. You're in a freaking monkey body.
And then Jay Garrick comes in and punches him out and says, not today, Beppo.
Okay. The super monkey.
So he punches him out. And then I like Howard Man has the one-legged. He goes, go low at him. He goes, I always do.
I always
I'm
do.
like, see, I like it when he's making the jokes. And then you just have everybody
make fun of
show
yourself.
Up.
It's when other people make fun.
So then you have, I mean, look at the crazy panel here of everybody attacking Ultra Humanite. And Jay yells together. Jay seems to be a bit of the glue here. Yeah. And then you end up where Alan gets to say, you say, I have perversions. Look at you, you small little man who preys on the weak. And they end up, he zaps him. And he ends up not today, and they knock him out. He's just laying there as they talk.
They just talk over his unconscious body like, nope, we're just getting started, guys.
Yeah, I'm like, look at him. Somebody grab him before he wakes up. But they're all there. Look at Thunderbolt put his arm around, what's his name?
Around Johnny Thunder,
It's funny. But you have the whole team there. And it's like, hey, we're just getting started. It could have ended there. Like, I thought it did. I thought, okay. Yeah. But then you're like, oh, but then you keep going. And there's Johnny. Oh, right. Now we're the Crime Buster League. And then Adam's like, I don't think I like that. And then they start talking about it. And like Salmon's like, I think we could do better. How about the Mystery Men? And Alan says, no, we're about justice. How about the Justice Society? And then a narration as things are going, it's like, and we decided that was the name that we liked. Now, in this, there's a funny play. You're going to lead to the classic Justice Society at the table, right?
The cover,
there's
the famous
cover of the certain picture, characters on that cover, and they have certain changes at times of costumes. So what we're going to do now is really get to that in the way of Hippolyta had to go home. She wanted to go back to, wherever she's from, but she'll probably be back and might be our secretary. And then you end up Amazing Man's like, so Amazing Man's like, he's got to get going. Pretty cool guy. Pretty amazing. He's got to get going. And then as you see,
she's a person of color. They weren't on the covers of comic books back then.
This is way back in the deal, and people didn't go for that. But then they get the table. You see it being delivered. It's pretty cool. It's in a crate. Cool. Hawkman comes. I'll open it. That's what we were joking. With his axe or his mace. And then I love the idea that he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm an archaeologist. I open everything with this. It's like, that's me. That's why my dad didn't want me to be an archaeologist.
He's like, what, you guys don't all open shit with maces all the time? Really?
Yeah, exactly. So
I thought that's what everybody did.
Yeah, he's like, doesn't everybody open shit with maces? So they end up and they're like, then it became official. President Roosevelt himself invited us to the White House, and he made the Justice Society of America official. So they're like, man, why isn't he waking up? Legit. He's being a really good, he's in his wheelchair. You see the handle there. I'm like, hey, he really likes them. He's not hiding behind that desk. They're like, why isn't he standing up, this jerk? And I'll give Jay Garrick takes his hat off in respect. I like that. Yeah. Dr. Fate's like, I ain't taking off my helmet, right?
No.
He's like, fuck that.
Rex is not putting my hood down.
Also notice at this point, they are not letting Johnny anywhere near the president.
No.
He's gone. He kind of disappeared. So they end up where they open up the crate, and it's the table. It's pretty cool. And I like that you see a little, you knew what it was. But you have it. Now you end up where you Hawkman and Adam are like the deal. They're like the Laurel and Hardy. It's like, hey, did you bring a booster chair for the Adam? And he goes, still the bird brain, and like hits him in the shoulder, like, yo, Doug. And Hawkman laughs. So they're friends now. And before, you did even have Shire say, listen, Hawkman, he likes you. If he makes fun of you, he likes you. That means he loves you. But you go from there. So this is where the best is. So they're gathering. There's John. Johnny's going to take the picture. Somebody has to, so that's why he's not on it. Right. But Hawkgirl, they're like, hey, by the way.
Hawkgirl, get in here.
Yeah, she's like, nah. It's funny. She's like, basically, like you said before with Amazing Man, she's, I don't think people would go for that. But she says, it's a boys' club.
What she says is, I don't want to be part of your sausage fest. That's what she says. Yeah.
I'll wait till Apollo comes back. Maybe we'll take another picture when there's some other chicks. But you go have your sausage fest. Again, it's so funny. It's like, I thought that Jeff Lemire was going to be like, oh, no, we're going to make it right. They're like, nope.
Nope.
We're going to get classic. So then Sandman showed the best of Sandman shows up.
This is so random.
Oh, my God. He's like, I didn't really like that mask I had before. I got to change it. That was a little too threatening. And
and this mask just as threatening, by the way. This isn't any better.
Actually looks like sci-fi threatening. Was it Spectre's like, I kind of like, he says, I thought the old mask was pleasantly ominous.
Yeah.
So you have all that. And he's like, I found the old gas mask was a bit frightening. Isn't that the why you had it?
Isn't that the point?
I thought I'd give this a new style shot because you want to get that. It's fine. And they're on the, here we go. We're going to get, and this is a great time. We're not just a team society. We're a family. And you get the picture.
Classic. Yeah. Classic.
Johnny's taking, everybody smile. Johnny's like, why am I in this picture? But he's not.
Why, if Hawkgirl wasn't going to be in the picture anyway, why couldn't she use it?
Yeah. And Hawkgirl looks kind of pissed.
Ladies weren't allowed to do things.
Yeah, really. She's like, lady work a photographer? What are you thinking? This is a high-tech camera. Oh, my goodness. They don't know math or science. And yeah, you get the big thing. And it's great. Again, it could have ended there. And it kind of does the story, but you have an epilogue or a prelude, actually. They claim part 2 of this, where you do have everybody kind of together as a team that we had leading up. It's in the now. And they're talking about, hey, the brown. And also, they also mentioned the brownstone, I think, was Wesley. So they say, Wesley let us use that. So that's fine. And so you go. And the big thing of, hey, we were thinking of this next generation. And again, it's
we need to be for the next generation what you were for us, which is, a training
teachers
team.
and trainers.
Yeah,
and we became the heroes we are because of you guys. We kind of want to do that again. And again, it's not just, hey, let's add more people. Because remember, at one point, they even say, man, we thought we were going to have to tighten the ship up here, but but they're opening it up to kids. It's not just, hey, let's add Batman. It's actually kids who need somebody. And again, you could play the idea, where are these kids? You know what I mean? Like, Witch Girl with Salem.
The lost children especially.
Lost children,
they've got nothing. They're out of time.
They have nothing. Some of them, their mentors are no longer around. They disappeared. So it allows them to, learn and become heroes. And again, we haven't had these kids for the most part. You got Cherry Bone there. You got them all. And I love them. And so it's like, hey, what about these kids? And, they said, we have Courtney Jakeem and Kid Eternity already. Why don't we get the rest of the lost children? And I'm sitting and you have that panel. It looks really good. And says that's what makes the JSA different. That's our purpose. And Jade is talking. They're like, you end up having Alan and Jay Garrick. They're talking like, should we do this? Is this open to them?
I like it. We're going to make it a school, a training facility. And Obsidian says you guys are going to be the headmasters. Jay Garrick makes a joke about growing a beard, which I'd like to see Jay Garrick with a beard. That'd be cool.
Funny. He's like, he wants a long white beard. He wants to be Dumbledore. They're like, hey, what's wrong? Because Alan he just looks off. He looks kind of sad. He's thinking. And he's like, it's not, I like the idea. Okay, so don't you like it? I do like the idea. I like it a lot. But something's been nagging me. What happened to Kid Eternity? Because she just disappeared.
Right.
And it's true. And she ends up where, again, remember she was seeing the ghosts of everybody. Wildcat, they were at the table.
Her power, right? She can tap in anybody's power who died. And she had joined the JSA, all the dead members at the table was the last time we saw her, I think.
Yeah.
And then now she's standing here and the Spectre's
she's
there.
At the table. And she's like, hey, who's there? It's a Spectre. And she's like, what's going on? And again, he says, I'm God's wrath. I am vengeance manifested, but I have been trapped for a very long time. And he's chained up.
Yeah, he is.
And
which is crazy because you got to wonder, when did this happen? Who's doing it? How did this happen? It's kind of crazy. And then he picks her up and he's like, you're my way out. And he takes her over and she becomes the Spectre. And it's really cool. That last really page, you're like, oh, shit. And she looks, so she's got Kid Eternity powers, Spectre powers. That's pretty crazy.
She's pretty OP. She is way overpowered. But
the Spectre's overpowered anyway.
Yeah.
And put him in like a ghost chick that can also, because she's like and she, I don't know, her powers are weird.
Yeah, she's crazy.
But she can grab any power from anybody who's died, which is a lot of people. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, this is better than learning boxing from the dead Wildcat. So she's the new Spectre for now. And that's what I like about it too. People can be like, oh, first off, the Spectre, look at Hal Jordan was the Spectre at one point. The Spectre does switch around. It doesn't have to be Jim Corrigan. And this is he has been separated at the point with Jim Corrigan. So this is just the Spectre to be her, which JSA needs a Spectre. She'll maybe be the Spectre. And maybe it will be the idea of who did this. And that'll be the next mission, whatever it would be. But it's cool to have that going with the lost children to go with the deal, and I'll have fun with that.
It's a
really
good
cool
cliffhanger, and it does a good job, I think, of setting up what I'm going to guess is probably going to be our A and B stories.
We'll
forward,
have A.
Right?
That's what I think we'll have.
Yeah. Like the A story, the big high stakes story of what the team needs to accomplish is something to do with the Spectre. Who chained him up? Maybe his powers are out. It's going to be something Spectre. right? It could be finding out what happened to him. It could be he's out of control in Kid Eternity's body and we got to stop him. It could be some combination of the two, right? We're going to do something big with the Spectre because the Spectre's always big, and that's cool. That's going to be our A story. And our B story is probably going to be
the kids,
Titans Academy or JSA Academy for the kids, and that should be a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Society Academy, JSA
Academy,
cool.
That'd be pretty cool. There you go.
But I think that's awesome.
That's a great setup for the next arc. And because you and I were talking last time, and we said, "Man, I'm really liking this year one stuff. I want to spend more time with these classic JSA guys. This is cool." Guys and ladies, they were left out of the picture, but they were in the book. We really liked them.
No picture of them.
Yeah, I can't believe that Jeff Lemire didn't fix it.
Will,
right? Exactly.
Again, it'd be funny. Will there at the table without a shirt. He's walking around shirtless.
No, I think he would have his Amazing Man outfit.
I would hope.
Picture, right?
I thought that they'd have that at one point, but at this point, he's still just him, and he's kind of getting his way. The funny thing is it's just he just had to go.
He just had to leave.
Here it is. Poor Will Everett had been through hell and back. He needed some time. But that guy was amazing, and we all knew it. And I swear to God, it's our man pushing him away.
Pushing him out the door?
And he's like,
he had to go.
Because he's patting him on the back, but it looks like he's pushing him away. Sandman's there.
The classic JSA were all racist. Fuck.
Oh my God! They're like, listen, and now they're like, it was a sign of the times. It was like we would have been better, but it was just how people were.
It was just how we were back. People were back then.
If we ever would have found out about Alan Scott, holy moly,
we would have been saying he sure is great as they patted his back and forced him out the door.
Yeah, he's like, goodbye, Alan. Go back to the docks. It made me laugh. I really did think he was going to change it up. And it was going to be okay, we have it all. I went later, Apollo did come back. And she's getting coffee and answering the mail.
She's a secretary.
She's a secretary.
Anyway, what I was saying is that when last issue, we talked about how we really wanted more year one. We were kind of sad that it was ending. And even last issue, we did the prologue part one for the next part, and it wasn't really very good. It was very
better.
Yeah. But here we ended on something that I'm going, hell yeah, I do want to see that actually. I am looking forward to the next issue very much. I'm not sad that we're leaving the year one behind because he set up some really, really cool stuff. And that's quite an accomplishment, because we really enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. What would you give it?
I'm debating between an 8 and an 8.5.
I'm between an 8 and an 8.5 as well. I'm just going to go 8.5.
Let's go 8.5 together.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And it makes us excited about the next issue, which is really cool. So I am fired up for it. It's that weird book that nobody else really talks about, it seems. But when we read it, I'm like, it started. I think that it just took too long to get going. And some people bailed because, again, you have so many books. And Eric at one point said, one of the things is he says it about a bunch of books, but everybody always yells for it, but they never read it.
And they never buy it.
And this one, though, I like Jeff Lemire, so I'll always give him a wide berth. I've kind of gotten off of Absolute Flash, unfortunately. I gave him a bunch of issues.
It's better. It's okay.
Yeah, I got to catch up. Yeah, but this one, I could have bailed at the beginning. I'm sure a lot of people did because it's like, man, it's not really doing much. But if you stuck with it, it paid off. So
the Old God story kind of didn't end particularly great. It was okay, kind of landed and then you went into the first issue of year one, and part of it was just we were super stoked and for the year one stuff. And then it just kind of started with a whimper, and you're like, nah. So I could see how some people might have bailed, but I hope not, because the one thing is while this book maybe does have its ups and downs here and there, on the whole, it's usually pretty good. And it's usually something that I look forward to reading every week. Like on the weeks that it comes out, it probably is, if not the number one book on the pile, it's pretty close. Right?
It's always solid.
Yeah.
I think we ended up doing World's Finest on the Spotlight, and we really liked it. But that seems like another one of those books. Like, even if it may not be hitting it fully, but it's always solid enough. It never gets
not
that
every
down.
issue is an 8, but There is going to be some 8s here and there throughout it. And even at its lowest point, it's like a 7, right? Like it's always fine. 7 to an 8.5. Right?
It's worth getting. Some other books aren't like that. Some other books stink, but this is pretty good. But that's it. So we're going to go from here. I'm going to go off and let you know what we're going to talk about next week and maybe predict what will be on the spotlight. We'll see. I think I said this week was going to be Batman and Batman, Superman, World's Finest, but instead it was Batman, Superman's World's Finest. Oh, no, I would have picked Bizarro. I think I picked Bizarro and Batman. I didn't think World's Finest, but that was pretty good. Again, if you want to hear me and Brad talk about that, and me and Fearmont talk about Bizarro, that's on the Patreon Spotlight. But we'll go off now, and I'll let you know what we're talking about next week. All right, and that is the end of the show. I want to thank Brad for joining me, but also Gray at the beginning. And the plan was I was going to do this ending pretty quick, but after I talked to Gray, I ended up getting sick in a weird way. I'm a bit nauseous, so if suddenly I check out, you'll know what happened. Maybe, but here's what we're going to be talking about next week. And there's not a ton of books again. It's weird. I kept thinking at some point we're going to get hit by that week where we get like 15 books. I don't think that's going to happen. Back in the day, you can go and look up on the feed. Back in the day, there were episodes where we had 13, 15 books, 5 mail sections. It was crazy. And I don't mean like mail sections like we're all like dancing around. It was actually, emails, just to make sure you know what I'm talking about. But here's what we'll be talking about. We do have the Action Comics number 1097, and you end up having a pretty cool cover on that. It's part of the Reign of Superboy's deal, so we'll see how that works out. We'll also have Bleeding Hearts number 3. That is something that Ryan and Gray hopefully will be talking about. We have Supergirl number 12, book that me and Brad liked, but we realized it wasn't really for us, but we kind of liked the deal, and then it kind of changed. Now it's a Reign of Superboys, barely. They're in the bottled city of Candor. I don't know what's going on. And that one will also have one of the new number 1s, The Fury of Firestorm, number 1. And I'll have to see. I know that Ryan wants to talk about that, but I do have to get something for Simon to talk about. I can't let him keep having days off. So if that is picked for the spotlight, I believe that we'll at least have the new number 1 for Simon, and then maybe Ryan can pick it up after that. We have Emperor Aquaman, number 16, I believe. That would be Dr. Matt talking with me about that. Green Lantern Corps, number 15. I hope that book gets better, but that's me and Brad. So there's not a ton of books. That's it. 2 of those books will be on the spotlight. I believe that they will probably be The Fury of Firestorm. Will definitely be. And Supergirl has been on it at points. No, I kind of think Emperor Aquaman, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that is. But again, if you want to listen to everything, including those 2 books on the bonus show, picked by the badasses, the Get Fresh Crew, you have to go to patreon.com/Weird Science, and you can get that. We got a bunch of things, me and Gray, before we ended up doing the intro to this show. We did an episode of our Usagi Yojimbo show, and I am also planning on doing a couple of back issues type things that have been suggested. So there'll be some bonus stuff. I'll just lay it on the line so that it kind of forces me to get off my Budinsky and do them. I believe I'm going to be talking about, and Ryan mentioned it this week on the Bizarro bonus show episode, where there is an issue of Superboy. I believe it's like Superboy 68. And I don't know why, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. But it is where you get a Bizarro Superboy ends up showing up first appearance with Superboy, and some of that issue does mirror what happened in that weird-ass Bizarro book. I didn't really understand. And then the other one, I think it was suggested by Jay in the comments a week ago. It's the appearance, or actually the point where Mon-El ends up getting poisoned by Superboy because he thinks he's a Kryptonian, but he's not. And then he ends up, unfortunately, dousing him with lead. He's a Daxamite. That's not good. So that's how he gets put into the Phantom Zone. So I want to do those kind of things that kind of, blend in with some of the books that we've been doing. And I need to do a couple extra shows on the Patreon because a lot of the people who are doing the shows and reading clubs are now fully immersed in the regular podcast, so they don't have time for those. So I'm going to add some shows so that hopefully we'll get some people excited, maybe and get people to check some things out. But that's it. I'm going to get out of here before I upchuck. Wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good at all. I don't know what's happening with me. I just think I'm completely falling apart. But hey, what a ride it's been. But here we go. We're going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody. And I'll see you in 7.
Every other show sucks. That's why you're listening to us. Every other show sucks. We're the only one that isn't us. So thank you for being smart. From the bottom of our heart. Thank you for being smart. 'Cause everything that us just thinks like a thought. Shut your mouth.